keeping you connected to relevant and empowering information. You're listening to Me Radio.
Hi, this is Dale Brown from Dale Brown and Truth, and you're listening to Me Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7.
Walking in your favor and your glory, taking back all my territory. The hand of God is gone before me. Closed doors are open for me. You cannot stand up and step into what God has for you. I won't let this moment slip through my fingers. I'll take a hold of the promise He has for me. In your favor and your glory, I'm walking.
Speak life, stay connected, live on purpose. Me Radio. Transforming lives through uplifting entertainment and radical conversations, keeping you connected to relevant and empowering information. You're listening to Me Radio.
The enemy, he knows that I know that he knows that I have the victory over him. The enemy, he knows that I know that he knows that I have the victory over him. The enemy, he knows that I know that he knows that I have the victory over him. The enemy, he knows that I know that he knows that I have the victory over him. Oh, yode ashiani, yode ashia ushea Jesselyne itza onalu. Oh, yode ashiani, yode ashia ushea Jesselyne itza onalu. Oh, yode ashiani.
Dear Kingdom, you may be gifted, but it takes discipline, vulnerability, and overcoming the darkest part of yourself to really master your craft.
Grateful, Lord, for loving me. Grateful. You've done for me. You pay the price and sets me free. In retrospect, I realize I can't live without you. No one else can do me like you. In you, I move and have my being. You are my everything. Lord, I wanna thank you. Grateful. Lord, I wanna thank you. Grateful, Lord, for loving me. Grateful. You've done for me. You paid the price and set me free. I raise my hands in the air to show you my affection for the love that you give. I give you my devotion, and sometimes though I feel like I don't deserve it, but you help me with your love and wouldn't let me go.
Your assignment is greater than your assassin. Dear Kingdom, You have to fight a battle more than once to win. I am Marsha J, international recording artist. Stay connected to UMERADIO.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome everyone to Weekends with Marsha J and Jesse, and I am one half of the dynamic duo. My name is Marsha J, and I want to say welcome to you. All right. So I'm communicating with my engineer. All right. So I want to say a quick thank you for joining us this and every Saturday right here on Weekends with Marsha J and Jesse. You do know that this program is definitely a current affairs program, family program, empowerment program, and we're always excited to have you join us this and every week. All right.
Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UME Radio. The sun is up and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UME Radio app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio. Follow me, Jesse, on Instagram at ink.jess, that's ink.jess, and on Facebook at Jesselyne Abel, that's JESSELYNE Abel, ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UME Radio with Marsha J and Jesse.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you? I'm great today.
Listen, I'm absolutely fabulous, as tired as I am and as pretty as I look. But I'm doing great. How are you?
I am doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good this morning. Got my tea here. I'm ready.
Awesome. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning on Weekends with Marsha J and Jesse. What do you have to say, Jesse?
I just want to say, again, thank you so much for joining us on our show on UME Radio. And we're looking forward to a great show today. And we want to say a big thank you to all of our partners, supporters, listeners, and viewers from all around the world, all 116 countries of you guys. Woo! A lot is happening around here, all over the world. And we hope that wherever you are safe and you don't feel like unsupported when you're listening to UME Radio. So if you guys need any advice, any support, anything like that, don't feel ashamed to drop it in the comments down below, or you can email us at info@umeradio.com. It is our hope that this family program will become a resource for you to be inspired and motivated and educated. Again, a welcome to the show. I'm Jessie, and I'm here with my amazing host.
My name is Marsha J.
It's Marsha J, and it is June 5th, 2021. The time is now 8:08 in the morning. And Marsha, we're not just on YouTube, if most of you guys watch us on YouTube or Facebook, right?
Yes, true. We are actually, or we will be coming to a television station near you. So let us just stop and give God some praise for that.
Yes.
We are expanding. And so we invite you to grow with us, and we thank you for walking with us through the journey so far. Yes?
Yes.
Wow. So aside from coming near you via television, and of course you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, you can also listen to us on the following apps. We are on Apple App Store, Google Play Store, iTunes Podcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Google Podcast, Podbean, TuneU, Live 365, Spotify, Stitcher, Player FM, and Listen Notes. And of course, because you are connected with us, we would like to connect you with deals, and we want to constantly add value to you as our viewers / listeners. And so for awesome deals, we invite you to go to umeradio.com/deals. Again, that's umeradio.com/deals. And so before we jump into things, let's go down the list of things we will be doing today. All right. So, of course, we start our mornings off with our daily devotion with compliments of our daily bread. Right after that, we jump into the news. We have the front page of the New York Times. We have the Caracol News and also news from Africa. And definitely, we'll be having a conversation inside our news highlights, and you don't want to miss that. Inside our lifestyle segment, we have community health check, right? And wealth mindset. And right after that, we will be having our 21 behavior changes. Coach Racquel, how could I forget that? Every week she comes in and she adds value. We will also be having Voice of Truth, and we will be having a very special conversation with Mr. Lazaro Heckler, and he is a motivational speaker. All right. So because of you, this week we will be having conversations also with Miss Lauren Carter, Democrat running for City Council. Election is right around the corner, so we don't want you to miss that. Inside our talent segment, we will be having I will not say until we get there. Definitely we'll be having our DJ Top 5, and of course our quiz competition and picture of the day. It's going to be a good day. Definitely, and we don't want you to miss out. So stick and stay with us right here on umeradio.com. And at this time, we're going to go straight into our daily devotion. Our daily devotion this morning is with compliments of our daily bread. And the topic we will be looking at this morning is waiting in hope. Our text is Romans 12 and verse 12. And it says, "Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction,
and faithful in prayer. Here's the story. Rogelio served as our waiter during our week-long vacation. In one conversation, he credited Jesus for blessing him with Kaylee, a compassionate wife with a very strong faith. After they had their first baby, God gave them the opportunity to help care for their niece who had Down syndrome. Soon after Rogelio's mother-in-law needed live-in care, Rogelio works with joy, often taking on double shifts to ensure his wife can stay home to care for the people God had trusted them with. When I shared how the couple inspired me to love better because of the way they opened their hearts and home to serve their family members, he said, "It's my pleasure to serve them and also to serve you." Rogelio's life affirms the power of living with generosity and trusting God to provide as we serve one another selflessly. The Apostle Paul urged God's people to be devoted to one another in love, joyful in hope, patient in affliction, and faithful in prayer. So, as we share with the Lord's people who are in need and practice hospitality based on Romans 12:10-13, our lives can change in an instant. Yes, it can. Leaving us or those we love in circumstances that feel impossible to bear. But when we're willing to share all God has given to us while we wait on Him, we can cling to His enduring love. And so we want to thank Zochili Dixon for this story. And again, our devotion comes to us with compliments of our daily bread. Reflect and pray. Here's a question. How can you prayerfully and physically support someone in need today? How has God used someone to offer you tangible support while you waited for Him to come through for you? Dear God, please help us to love others while we wait for you to work and through our circumstances. Lord, we thank you this morning that all that are watching and listening are within your care. We thank you for waking us up. We thank you for your love towards us. We thank you for life. We thank you, oh God, for not just sending your son to die for us, but providing others who are your hands and feet. We are also your hands and feet, so we can support each other. As we go through this life, help us not to be selfish. Help us to always be looking out for each other, helping each other, supporting each other, because you are the God that loves us and helps us through all our circumstances. Today, God, we pray for our show. We pray for those who are watching, those who are listening. Father, we pray for all our guests who will be coming in today. Father, we thank you for the team that is in place. I pray that you will touch us, you will anoint us for us to carry out your work. Father, we thank you this morning that you have allowed us to be an answered prayer to someone who is in desperate need. Father, we lay our lives into your hands and we give you thanks because you are able to do exceedingly and abundantly more than we could ever ask or think. And we're so humbled to call you Father and friend. God, we thank you so much for what you have done, what you're doing now, and what you are about to do. In Jesus' name, amen and amen. And so that was our morning's devotion. Jessie, it's so refreshing to spend time with God at the beginning of the day, don't you think?
Yeah, I do it. I do it every day. And actually, this morning, real quick before we got on air, my washing machine was going. It was like tumble dry kind of thing. So if you guys heard that in the background, that was it. It's all good now. But yeah, I love spending time with him. I also do like journals or like prayer journals. I just write all of my thoughts on any verses that had an impact on me, and I just write that down. And so yeah, I love spending time with him.
Awesome. And with that being said, now we're going to go to the news.
All right, guys. So let's just first things first. I'm going to let you guys know on the front page of the New York Times. We're going to run through this real quick. So on the front page, first thing is that Facebook keeps a ban on Trump until early 2023. Sidelined in midterms, posts by politicians are no longer exempt from the rules. Tensions rise as movement makes strides for Black Lives Matter, clout, and conflict. In the years since George Floyd was murdered, racial justice organizations across the country have been enacted with millions of dollars in donations and thousands of eager new activists. They have earned a prominent platform that puts them on the front lines of political and social battles. Employment gains doubled in May, but a rally has a ways to go. And there's a graph here that shows just the amount of jobs that people lost during the pandemic and how it's very slowly picking back up. U.S. hiring is up, but uneven pace. May last month's unemployment at 5.8%, bumpy ride for labor market as employers find few takers. Hong Kong finds its way to honor, sorry if I'm going to butcher this, Tiananmen, sorry if I'm saying this wrong, but memorials prohibited, people speak out in everyday actions taking shifts to care for their child and hoping a nurse arrives. And there's this picture of this young child called Chloe Mead, the mom with her 7-year-old son Henry, who has a rare condition called spinal muscular atrophy. So we do know that a lot of moms, a lot of parents, just in general, are going through with their kids with special needs and uh, health problems. So we do know that's going on still. Justice Department waged secret fight to get emails of Times reporters. Gag order obtained on newspapers' leaders. And that, you guys, is on the New York Times front page for today.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jessie. And now we are going to go over to the CARICOM news. And we want to say a big thank you. This news is compliments of today.caricom.org. And so these are the stories making the front news of the CARICOM page. So we have CARICOM prioritized in U.S. vaccine sharing strategy. CXC awards regional top performance in CSEC and CCSNC. PANCAP meeting opened with call to sustain HIV response as public health system strives. Jamaican Prime Minister announces, new COVID-19 measures. CARICOM SG calls for fairness in international financing for SID. And we also have OACPS/EU post Cotonou agreement obstacles in the path to signature. We also have prioritizing farmers buying local, investment in healing of food systems. And so these are the stories making the front news, the front page of the CARICOM news. And now we go over to the African news. And this news is with compliments of africannews.com. And these are the stories making the front page of the African news today. Nigeria suspends Twitter after deletion of Buhari's threatening tweet. World has chosen business over suffering Ugandans. African leaders discuss Chad's political scene.
Nigeria says Twitter is suspended indefinitely. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, we have parents search for missing children. In Mali, we have 5 opposition rally in Bamako in support of Colonel Assimi Goita. And scrolling down, inside Editor's Choice, we have boosting self-reliance among refugees, Morocco's para-Olympian athletes ready for Tokyo 2021. Cutting-edge companies flies drones. And in Egypt, we have Egypt machinery arrives in Gaza to begin rebuilding. Yes, and these are the top stories making the front page of the African News. And we want to say a big quick thank you to africannews.com for the stories this morning. And with that being said, inside or highlight segment, Jessie, we have a very special story this morning. Would you care to share?
Yes, I love it. If you guys have not been on social media or just the internet this past week, this clip of a teenager fighting off a bear to protect her dogs. Guys, we're going to show you that clip in a bit. But oh my gosh, Marsha, I've been watching this clip on repeat. I'm just like, I can't believe this. This did not happen. This happened somewhere in California.
Wow, I can just imagine. I know for us in the Caribbean, while we do have pets and things like that, very few persons in terms of percentage, are really, they hold their pets close like that. But to think that you are fighting off a bear for your own dog, that is amazing. Talk about it for the love of animals.
I know.
Here we go. Oh my goodness.
I can't have a bear even close to my backyard. No, thank you.
I know. And they can be way taller than us, very much stronger than us. They have 4 feet, we have 2. But
Yeah.
we see where this person is just on top of things, defending what belongs to her. We want to say kudos to you. You have the courage to do what it is that you do.
Yes. I don't know if I would have the strength, or maybe it's just like adrenaline or womanly, like God just gives it to you and you just have to do it, because that it's just how do people do that? I've heard moms say that, that if worse comes to worse, that they will take care of the kids. But we do want to let you guys know before we play the clip that this is a warning. Never, ever, ever, ever do this.
This is not advised, guys.
This is not advised, guys. Never do this. And don't get involved with wild animals.
Do not. I'm not even sure how that bear got in her yard in the first place. Okay, thank you so much. Quick shout out to DJ Kelly. Let's go ahead and play that clip.
All right, George, in every story people have ever seen on the news about a bear encounter, there's always some expert that's interviewed that comes on and tells people what you should do if you encounter a bear. In none of those stories does the expert ever say you're supposed to charge towards the bear. That's exactly what this young lady did. She had her reasons. Even though it was a split-second decision and things worked out, it was not the right decision. Just incredible. The moment 17-year-old Haley Marinico came face to face with a bear in her own backyard. The incident was all caught on a home surveillance video.
I didn't know I had it in me, to be honest. Like, who does that? Who in their right mind pushes a bear?
Watch as the bear and 2 cubs casually walk along the top of a brick wall, possibly looking for food. Then the family dog runs over and starts barking at the bear, who swats back at the dog as the cubs scramble away. And that's when Haley sprang into action.
Honestly, I did not know it was a bear until right after I pushed it. I didn't register in my head that it was a bear.
Haley ended up with only a sprained finger. She says all of the family dogs are safe. The video was a shock for Haley's mom to see.
it's just horrifying to watch.
Animal experts say while Haley was incredibly lucky, you should not do this.
There are a few things more dangerous than a mother bear with cubs. The bear was just protecting her cubs. The bear was just maintaining her position on the wall, swatting at the dogs who were aggressively barking because her instinct is to protect her cubs.
And if you do have a run-in with a wild animal, the key is to keep your distance.
At the very most, put your hands up, yell and scream, make yourself look large, but do not run at an animal and never make that physical contact. That could be disastrous.
I advise people to never fight a bear or touch it or get close to one. Just go inside, let it be.
Brave girl. Very.
Yep. Yep.
Listen.
Guys, you want to give credit to that clip from Good Morning America, but you guys, first off, the clip, I didn't know at first. I only saw like the part where the mom was kind of like walking towards not the tree but the opposite direction. So at first I didn't know that she was mama bear with cubs on top of that.
Exactly.
So when I saw it, I was just
bear is going to get defensive about cubs, just as how the sensitive was defensive about her dog. But it's like, whoa, intense, really intense.
Yes, that's complete. I would never do that. I would never. I mean, I love California. If I could ever move to California, God willing, cool. But you got this, you got, just natural disasters and earthquakes and fire. And let me to stay on the East Coast. I'll deal with the snow for a little bit.
I know. Guys, let us know in the comments. Would you, in fight or flight, defend your animal? Let us know in the comments. And just to jump over the comments real quick, we have a Karen over here saying hello, good morning to you too. And we have Keith Marriott. Good morning, Keith. Who says looking forward to a wonderful show. Yes, we are. And now we go into our inspirational segment. Who do we have today, Jessie?
Guys, if you guys don't know her by now, she is our recurring guest, who's awesome. This is Coach Racquel, guys, and I absolutely love. I say this every single week, but it's absolutely true. I love when she comes on our show. If you guys are new to our show listening, let me tell you a little bit about Coach Racquel. She is a proven strategist. Racquel is a beneficiary of the Cornell Bank of America Women's Entrepreneurship at Cornell University, where she completed certification in entrepreneurship. She is also a certified career coach. As a child, Coach Racquel endured the countless challenges of poverty firsthand, which ultimately shaped her into the compassionate, courageous individual she is today. And in overcoming such hardships, she has become adept at helping others avoid these and other pitfalls of career and life to step into their best versions possible. Above all, with over 15 years of leadership experience, she is a true advocate of positive change in the 21st century, helping individuals and companies achieve their goals, guys.
Yes, and before she comes on this morning, we're going to divert a little bit into our spotlight, our first spotlight for this morning. All right. So, our spotlight for this morning is the Women and Men of Excellence Outreach Ministries under the leadership of Apostle Dr. Faith Walters, right? And so, first of all, let's just say that I'm looking at her new website, and it is thebomb.com. Recent developments and upgrades, and definitely she's someone you want to look out for. She is about community outreach and empowerment programs, and this part of her ministry is actually up and running, so you can log on to www.wa-moe.org to see or to explore more about how you can be empowered through this rich ministry. Her family empowerment program has to do with assisting young people, and not just young people, but people on a whole, in making their lives better. She has a new book also that's coming out. It's called Reborn, And you can pre-order this book by visiting her website. She has the Excel project that's coming on board as well, where you can have vocational training and you are connected with accredited and internationally accredited organizations through her. And that's the website right there. It is called the excelproject.com. Bless you, Jesse.
Thank you.
All right. So once you log in, you can choose your country. You can choose whether you're from the Caribbean or you're from the US. And once you are inside, sorry, um, you can make a couple of selections, looking for a job, looking for hire, ready to get certified, ready for promotions. So opportunities are already on that website. And if you look in the bottom right hand corner, there is a let's chat feature, and there is or her eye assistant that's always there to make sure that they'll be answering questions or anything. Could you scroll down, please? Yes. So it's family all the way. Well, we haven't got to family all the way, but the Excel project is by Wamo Ministries. Yes. Go ahead, scroll down some more. And you can do a 1 year course online, or you can do a 6 month course. And of course, there are payment plans that are available. Awesome. I love it when faith based leaders, I think that she's an absolute trendsetter, Jesse.
Yes, she is.
Church Without Walls, definitely something that is commendable. Dr. Faith, you are a regular viewer of the Saturday morning show. If you are watching this morning, we just want to say hats off to you. So there are two types of membership. There's a free membership and there is a premium membership, right? Sign up for free and complete your professional member profile to showcase your brand. So there is an opportunity. And if you want to take it a notch up, there is premium membership, the $34.99 for professional listing, best for digital entrepreneurs, and there is the commercial listing, perfect for employers and businesses. So this is actually a twofold opportunity, not just for those who are seeking to improve themselves, but if you are a person who wants to also empower others, then you have the opportunity to get listed under the Excel project. We can also look at industries they serve. I'm going to ask you to scroll back down. We're going to look at industries they serve quickly. So we have culinary arts, customer service, sales, office support, curriculum and administrative, fashion design, artist development, money management, nutritionist mechanics, entrepreneurship. Definitely. Wow, wow. This is expansive. This is awesome. Guys, go over to the website, the Excel project. And now we want to have a quick conversation about her second book, Reborn. First of all, Jesse, let me say that I love the graphic. I know that she loves music. I know she's significant to her ministry. Love it. So this is really the graphic for her new book, and it was inspired by her own personal life experience in breaking free from over 30 years of emotional, mental, physical, sexual, social, verbal, financial, and spiritual abuses. And I know for some of us, we can relate. We can
Yeah.
relate. And if you need a resource, this is a great book to have in your artillery, right? So we have the Family Empowerment and Self Development Program. So Dr. Faith and Let's Talk Relationship podcast that's aired right here on a Monday at 9 p.m. on UME Radio have teamed up to provide a safe space for Black men and women to access tools, resources, and support the fostering strong, healthy relationship. Isn't that awesome? So it's not just about getting married and being left on your own, but now you have full support because we know that it's not a destination when it comes on to legacy and family, but it's actually a journey. It really is, right? And so you can join this program by signing up, and it's really easy, guys. So you put in your name, first name, last name, your email, and you choose your pizza topping. It's so funny, but I love it. Yes. What is your flavor? Come on now. Come
Yes.
all right, all right. So we have family life, family ceremonies, family sexuality. We have family relationships, family spirituality, family branding. Yes, and creating a family. Listen, I'm passionate about that last one. I'm not
Mhm.
there. Want to create my family. Want to make sure that my family is just where it needs to be when they get here. Visit this website www.wa-moe.org. Visit Women and Men of Excellence Outreach Ministries. They're going on with some brand new things, and you do not want to miss out on it. Kudos to you, Dr. Apostle Faith Walters. Ugh, that was refreshing. I love it, Jesse. I love it. Love it.
Love that.
And that was our spotlight for this morning. Yes. And now we go into our inspirational segment with Coach.
Good morning, ladies. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Yes, we can hear you.
I promise you that I'm going to work on my appearance and one day I'll be on the show in video and everything, in full technicolor.
Oh man, we're looking forward to it.
Yes.
What's your pizza toppings?
Listen, that is so up to date. Come on.
Yes.
Oh wow, that was that's
That
the
was
joke
refreshing.
of the day. Have a sense of humor. Joke
Can we
of
put it on a shirt?
the day.
Listen, I
Oh
love
my
it.
goodness.
Internet
Oh my
has a
goodness.
buzz. It has a buzz.
Yeah. Oh wow. So today I'm going to be speaking or sharing with your audience. I decided that I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about the 5 agreements, and I'm trying to find my page. Okay, here we go. Yes, I wanted to talk about the 5 agreements. Don Miguel Ruiz, he wrote the book. The first one was the 4 agreements, and then he wrote a second one called the 5th agreement. And I just wanted to share this with your audience. And since it's quite a bit of a read, I'm just going to go ahead and begin. So the topic for the first agreement, it says the story of you. The first agreement, be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. For thousands of years, humans have tried to understand the universe, nature, and mainly human nature. It's amazing to observe humans in action all around the world, in all the different places and cultures that exist on this beautiful planet Earth. Isn't that amazing? Amazing indeed. Amazing indeed. Humans make a lot of effort to understand, but in doing so, we also make a lot of assumptions. As artists, we distort the truth and create the most amazing theories. We create entire philosophies and the most amazing religions. We create stories and superstitions about everything, including ourselves. And this is exactly the main point. We create them. Humans are born with the power of creation, and we are constantly creating stories with the words that we learned. Every one of us uses the word to form our opinions, to express our point of view. Countless events are happening all around us, and using the attention, we have the capacity to put all these events together in a story. We create the story of our own life, the story of our family, the story of our community, the story of our country, the story of humanity, the story of the entire world. Every one of us has a story that we share, a message that we deliver to ourselves and to everyone and everything around us. We are programmed to deliver a message, and the creation of that message is your greatest art. What is the message? Your life. With that message, you create mainly the story of you, and then a story about everything you perceive. You create an entire virtual reality in your mind, and you live in that reality. When you think, you're thinking in your language. You're repeating in your mind all those symbols that mean something to you. You're giving yourself a message, and that message is the truth for you because you believe that it's the truth. I just want to interject and share something before I read the last part that I want to share with you. So what this is really talking about is the fact that whether or not we are in the consciousness of it, we are creating our existing reality, right? We exist, but whatever the world that we experience entail, we are actually creating it. And it took me a while to really chip all the way down to that, right? And sometimes I always say I have to like squint my eye to kind of dim the world so I can focus on the internal to realize that, hold on, it is true. I am moving through the world, but whatever I capture and take with me, whatever I stack in my transportation, my mental transportation, it's a choice. And I'm choosing to carry it with me. Right. And then there are other things that I've chosen not to carry with me, whether I'm aware of it or not. And one of the conversations we were having is, I was having a conversation, and this may sound dramatic, but that's not the intention. I just want us to think through this, right? I once heard somebody say they farted, right? Or what's the proper word for that?
Pass gas or
pass gas or something else. Deflate is I don't remember what it is. Yes. Flat. There we go. Thank you.
There we go.
Yes. And I remember the way he made his face when he thought about his own, and he was like, "Oh my God, I can't be in the room with anyone because mine is lethal." And for some reason, when he said that, it just really connected, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I really sat down, and I'm like, if we get to a place where we think that whatever comes out of us is so disgusting, how does that impact on our capacity to love ourselves and value self, right? If that's how we describe what happened to us, that's number one. But number two, what could be attributed to us interpreting our own experiences to such an advanced degree? What are we doing that may be causing us to experience ourselves in a negative way, or in a more advanced negative way than necessary, worse than it has to be? And I really sat down and I thought about it. There's so many things that we use. We use cologne and perfume, and it's like we're always drifting away from our natural habitat, right? Because when I go into like an animal kingdom or whatever, their mess is right there, but I don't feel like it's lethal. As a matter of fact, I'm sensitized in a way that I accept it. It's almost like, I expect it. It's okay. And actually, it doesn't smell lethal to me. It doesn't even smell like my own to me. And I never thought about it before, right? And as I really thought about it, and really dig down into it, I remember I literally went 2 weeks without bathing. I was doing a study for myself. I wanted to understand for myself, after that comment was made, what would it be like if I did not have the sweet smelling Dove, the this, the that, on me? What would my experience be? Would it be different? And it was completely different. When I went to the bathroom, it did not. I don't know if we do know that we have sensory adaptation, but it didn't, because I was off it for a while. My natural body things they were just natural to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just like standing in an animal farm. It's no different for me what my experience was. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying I didn't smell anything or I didn't experience it. I'm not saying it didn't. I'm saying to the degree that I used to, it was completely, it just felt so natural, And so we have to ask ourselves, and I'm not saying we shouldn't use these things, but we have to ask ourselves, first of all, if God wanted us to be a flower, then we would be, right? If he wanted us to smell like flowers, then we would smell like flowers all the time. So why do we put so much effort into going away from our natural habitat to the degree that it starts putting us in a place where we start having negative this definitions about ourselves and descriptions about ourselves and a negative experience with self. And if we realize that that is happening, at what point do we come into the consciousness of, it's not that I'm lethal, but it's because my sensory adaptation to the flowers and the cologne and the perfume and the roll-on and other things around me has made it so that I am so far from my natural sense, so that when I smell my natural sense, it becomes a problem to me.
Yep.
See what? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like I don't know if you've ever experienced not eating salt in your food, and if you taste just a little bit of salt, you feel almost as though it's. I've done that too. I did that test.
I've done that.
Exactly, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like 1 grain of salt felt like a whole pack of salt that I ate. It's the same thing with our bodies and our minds. When we become acclimatized, domesticated, conditioned, whatever you want to call it, to a certain state of mind, right? That then influences the story you create about yourself. That's the point I'm trying to make. And so you need to become conscious of what's the story that I'm creating about myself. So I'm going to continue reading now. And please, ladies, let me know if I'm going over time. The story of you is everything that you know about you. And when I say this, I'm talking to you, knowledge, what you believe you are, not to you, the human, what you really are. As you can see, I make a distinction between you and you, because one of you is real and the one of you is not real. You, the physical human, are real. You are the truth. You, knowledge, you're not real. You're virtual. See that? You, and I hope the story I gave just now explained what I meant, because the whole is knowledge is the knowledge that when I smell like that, and the knowledge that when I use cologne, I smell like this. You know what I mean? So it's all knowledge and not necessarily a real experience or the truth of God, if you know what I mean. You only exist because of the agreements you made with yourself and with the other human beings around you. You knowledge come from the symbols you hear in your head, from all the opinions of the people you love, the people you don't love, the people you know, and mostly the people you will never know. For example, when the person said, "Oh my God, my body, it's lethal." You see, the word lethal is English. It was created, and the definition was created for us too in a lot of cases. And then the interpretations that we add to those. You know, every single time you read something, you add your own interpretation to it. Who is talking in your head? You make the assumption that it's you. But if you are the one who is talking, then who's listening? You, knowledge, are the one who is talking in your head, telling you what you are. You, the human, are listening. But you, the human, existed long before you had knowledge. Powerful. You existed long before you understood all these symbols, before you learned to speak. And just like any child before he or she learns to speak, you were completely authentic. Have you ever seen a baby? Just a sidebar here. Have you ever seen a baby when you're changing them? You've seen a parent change, or the person changing the baby face all made up. They're having a tough time with the scent, and the baby is just laughing, and right? Right? Okay. So I'll continue. You didn't pretend to be what you're not without even knowing. Powerful. I mean, when we don't understand that, when you stop to say, it's lethal, blah, blah, blah. It's almost like you're telling yourself a lie that I am sweeter than I'm supposed to be. I smell nicer than I'm supposed to be, right? And those are the little things we tell ourselves, and we actually believe it. And we believe it in such a mindless kind of way sometimes that we don't even say, hey, I smell sweet because I use a cologne. I smell sweet because I use a cologne. This is not my natural scent. It's not like we're in the consciousness of that all the time, because if we were, then we wouldn't become so ashamed of it when we do something that we have no control over, that we actually need. I remember being really, really sick once, and with my tummy, and I couldn't do a number 2. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even flatulate. Is that the word? That's the word you said, right? Right. I couldn't even do that. Can I tell you something? I thought I was going to die. I thought I was going to die. I never knew it could be so painful, and I knew not where the pain was coming from. Respect and honor your number 2s. and your farts or your passing of, yeah, I promise you, those natural body systems, respect them. I'll continue. Without even knowing it, you trusted yourself completely. You loved yourself completely. Before you learned knowledge, I feel emotional. You were totally free to be what you really are, because all those opinions and stories from other humans were not in your head already. Your mind is full of knowledge, but how are you using that knowledge? How are you using the word when it comes to describing yourself? When you look at yourself in a mirror, do you like what you see? Or do you judge your body and use all those symbols to tell yourself lies? Is it really true that you are too short or too tall or heavy or too thin? Is it really true that you are not beautiful? Is it really true that you're not perfect the way you are? And here is my closing statement, my closing paragraph that I thought was just so powerful. Can you see all the judgments that you have made about yourself, or that you have about yourself? Every judgment is an opinion. It is just a point of view. And that point of view wasn't there when you were born. Everything you think about yourself, everything you believe about yourself is because you learned it. You learned the opinions from mom, dad, siblings, and society. They sent all those images of how a body should look. They expressed all those opinions about the way you are, the way you are not, the way you should be. They delivered a message and you agreed with that message. And now you think so many things about what you are. But are they the truth? Are they the truth? That's the end of my presentation for today. Do you have any questions for me?
Thank you so much, Coach.
You're so welcome.
Listen, I always appreciate your perspective, because sometimes we think our own perspective is the only perspective. And
Yeah.
our perspective is not even the truth. And today's topic is within the 5 agreements.
Yes.
Comfortable with your words.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And especially your words towards yourself. It's important because we get so lost into the reality of things that we completely forget that these are man-made creations. Each person came and created something. It didn't, because they created a structure that looked like it was built with bricks and it has rooms and they call that house, doesn't mean that you need to call that house. It doesn't mean it has to be a house for you. It doesn't mean that it has to be home for you. It doesn't mean it has to be the way everyone tell you it's supposed to be. You could actually create something entirely different and call it house or home. Right? But what he said in it that was so powerful is not forgetting nothing has a hold on you. Nothing can impact you unless you agree to it. So my message today to you, my tip to you as I leave is become conscious of your agreements, and not just because we're agreeing to things without even thinking about it, right? I just agreed to go to school. I just agreed that I needed a certification, a degree. I just decided, I needed this, I needed that. And I can't, that need can't stop. It can't stop. I keep needing. But do I need? Do I? So I am saying become conscious of your agreements so that you can actually be in agreement with the things that are in your best interest. When somebody says you're too fat, you're too slim, you're too fat for what? What's the measurement? Too fat for who? Because as apparently I am standing here, I'm sitting here, I'm alive. So if I'm too fat, then what's the problem? So is too fat a compliment? Oh, thank you. Or is it a negative? Oh, I'm too fat. What's the disadvantage? What is it my too fat is doing to you? And if we can create realities that are negative, that have negative connotations, why aren't we creating positive ones? Why couldn't you
Yeah.
say, oh wow, you are fabulous, you're fabulous, or oh my goodness, you are thick in all the right places. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
girl, you so slim. Oh my gosh, girl,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, why can't it be in the positive? And so we use these lenses even when we choose a partner, and then we wonder, why do I have a divorce? You chose it. You see, because you're choosing according to the belief systems, according to the tailor-made systems that says to you, this is right. But in your heart, when you really go to your truth, is it really true for you? To the degree that we describe ourselves in ways that is unbelievable. You know, it's unbelievable. So I had to ask myself in that story, and the person who it was is somebody who had self-esteem issues and self-worth issues, you know. And I thought to myself as he said it, wow, you know, and the way he said it and the way he made up his face, as though there's this inside of him that's just so nasty, so ugly, so, you know. And you have to ask yourself, who if they're thinking of themselves that way does not have self-esteem issues? How can you not have self-esteem issues if you're thinking on the inside of you so rotten? I'm saying that, yes, I am saying that to say, exactly, Marsha J, perspective. So I'm saying that to say, become conscious of what you're doing, because you can still use your sweet stuff. But if it's going to cause you to develop negative expressions of yourself, you should consider it. You should reconsider it. Right? Or probably find those things that keep you as close to your natural habitat as possible. Organics. Yes. Anyway, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you so much for having me on your show today. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So that was Coach Racquel. And of course, our inspirational segment was just done by her. Jessie, wasn't that refreshing?
It was really refreshing. I absolutely love every single time she comes on the show. It's just a blessing. And what she really does, like you said, Marsha, is she really, whatever topic she's speaking about, it really enlightens us and makes us view things from a different perspective. And I know, especially when it comes to just words that we do say about ourselves, we do have to be mindful, because words do have connections. And there is power in the tongue. So if you're just spilling a whole bunch of bad stuff about yourself, well, watch what you're speaking.
What you say.
Mm-hmm.
And I personally, and this is just to self-disclose, that I personally have had to rewire my mind, rewire my thoughts, rewire my speaking. Also, thanks to Coach Racquel being a part of that change process. In order to become the best version of ourselves, we have to do these things. Because if we don't do it and we keep absorbing what persons around us are saying, then we are in for trouble. It's not going to be just a deterrent to our personal growth, but it's going to spill over into our friendships and our relationships and our simple things like how I feel about myself will determine how you walk into a room, how successful you are, and things like that. Very, very important. Just to go over to the comments real quick. We have Royal Events checking in this morning. Says, good morning, fam. Hey, writing time for Coach. Love her 21. Behavior changes. Awesome, edifying segment. Thank you so much, Royal Events. Thank you so much. You are inside Weekends with Marsha J and Jessie on UMERADIO. So what's coming up next, Jessie?
Guys, we're about to head into our lifestyle segment, and I can't wait to share with you what we have for today for wealth, mindset, and wellness. I'm excited. All right, guys.
The intro music for the segments are dope. Thank you.
I know they are dope. Thank you. I love it. So let's just dive right in because I absolutely love it. So guys, if you guys don't know, when we talk about lifestyle, we're talking about the interests, opinions, behaviors, and behavior orientations of an individual, group, or culture in one's own development of self. Are you deliberate and calculated to live the life you love? What is your mindset in in wealth and wellness? So today for wealth mindset, I kind of want to shift gears because sometimes past few weeks we've kind of talked about, the way we should train our mind. Last week we talked about salaries and how to ask for a salary. So today I want to go into side hustles. And I know with the pandemic and everything, a lot of people have been looking for side hustles, people starting their own businesses, people realizing that a 9 to 5 is not going to cut it anymore. That the world is changing and we have to tap into other aspects of ourselves, other interests of ourselves, other hobbies that we have, and really, use it as a side hustle, use it as a business and create from that and have supplemental income. So today I want to share with you, I'm reading off of sidehustlenation.com, and I'm just going to read off my computer, guys, while it comes up for you guys on YouTube. But it is 2021 side hustle statistics and survey results, income levels, the most popular gigs, and common struggles. And if you guys don't know, I do have side hustles, one of them being I am a poet and author, and I'm also recently started into copywriting. So when we dive into side hustles, because it's a popular trend, there are two big factors behind it. So the one that they're saying is proactive desire and unprecedented ability to make extra money fueled by technology and social media. And two is economic necessity. So how many people have a side hustle? So according to this website, there are about 45% of working Americans report having a side hustle. That amounts to roughly 70 million people. Among millennials, that statistic rises to 50%. And the trend continues to grow, with Zapier reporting that an additional 60 million plan to start a side hustle in 2021. Even celebrities are getting in on the action, recognizing the value of diversifying their income streams. And I've seen that from social media, especially with different artists, that they're getting into fashion, they're getting into interior design, they're getting into YouTube or starting their podcast. Everyone has a podcast nowadays. So why are so many people side hustling? According to Bankrate, 30% of side hustlers need the extra money to make ends meet. Perhaps more encouraging is that roughly 60% use the money primarily for savings and additional disposable income. And there's a graph here that just shares the different percentage of whether they're using it for disposable income for spending, paying for regular living expenses, income for savings, or other. And as we scroll down, some things that people want to achieve with their side hustle is more personal freedom, extra income to save, spend, or invest, extra money to make ends meet, pay off debt faster, a creative outlet, and it felt like a calling. So how much do people make from their side hustle? The average side hustle brings in an additional $1,122 a month, but the median income is much lower, just $200 a month. That means that many side hustlers are at the lower end of that earning spectrum, and the data from Side Hustle Nation subscribers seems to support that as well. In their recent survey, half of all respondents reported making less than $100 per month. So how much time do side hustles take? The average side hustler spends 11 to 16 hours a week on their business. Combined in the average earnings, that work out to an average of $16 to $23 an hour. 38.3% of Side Hustle Nation subscribers reported working 5 to 20 hours a week on their business, which they'll put in terms of part-time work. So let's get into some of the most popular side hustles real quick. Online business. So that include blogging, podcasting, online courses, affiliate marketing, freelance and consulting, e-commerce. This is Amazon, eBay, Etsy, your own online store. Investing. That includes real estate, cryptocurrency, stocks, buying businesses and alternatives. There's self-publishing books. They might do local services, which is cleaning, knife sharpening, notary services, pet waste removal, anything of services that you could provide for your community. And they also are doing YouTube, software and apps, gig economy jobs like Instacart or Lyft or Uber and stuff like that. So some of the highest paid side hustles is an online business, freelancing and consulting, and investing. And some of the biggest challenges that that side hustlers are facing are growing their business, dealing with limited time, and coming up with the right side hustle idea. So when it comes to that, I just want to share just from a personal note that when it comes to time and me being also a student as well, it's really, really important to schedule and plan everything out. And if it's like a baby task, such as like, let me send 10 emails out and do that for an hour or an hour and a half, or let me read a book, or let me go on Instagram and do some social media posts. Let me create social media posts for the week so I don't have to struggle for the rest of the week. These are all kind of things that really help you with your side hustle business. And a lot of people, when it comes to wealth mindset, I do want to share with you guys that a lot of people go into side hustling thinking that they're going to make the money like that. Because you see the people on Instagram, you see the people on Facebook where they're just like, they left their full-time job, they're doing this full-time, yada, 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 but you don't know the work that it had to take to get there. It didn't happen in a year. It didn't happen in 2 years. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of psychology that goes into it. If it's something that you're good at, what I strongly would say, I have a question coming in. If it's something that you're good at, I would strongly say to embrace the natural talent that you have. So you have a question that came in, how young can I start a side hustle? Listen, I've went through internet streets and just seeing different articles, and I've seen kids from 7, 8 years old, maybe like having their own side hustles. They have a talent for hair and they're setting up, and the mom in the background, and they're doing their client's hair. They're into makeup. They're into, some kids are like selling artwork, which, art is could be very abstract, and they post it on Etsy and stuff like that. They may be into jewelry. So, if you have a child that has a knack for a certain type of thing, look at it in a way where they could possibly create it into a business more than just, the typical lemonade stand. They could really use it, create a social media account for them, an Instagram, a Facebook, and kind of do what you did. Like, I don't know if they still do that with schools anymore, but when you had like the magazine, you had the magazine and they would have like, the different toys, and you'll have to like sell a certain amount of cookies or something like that. And your parents would share it with their colleagues at work. And then you get a certain amount, and then you're like, okay, I want this toy, this toy, and this toy. Have your own adult friends. If your friends have, young children or anything like that, bring them in and be like, hey, do you mind promoting my daughter's, jewelry line or clothes, or if you taught her how to sew, kind of go into that. Royal Event saying, yes, Jesse, let your side hustle start your brand. Do what you love. Your gift makes room for you. Yes, of course, Royal Events. And I'll have a little testimony or short to share with you guys. For a while, a really long time, I actually had I love writing. And throughout the years in English, English teachers either had a love-hate relationship for me, to be honest. It was either they loved my writing, or I kind of phrased words differently. Like it wasn't the typical grammar, or I may miss a word or two, but they said their sentence structure was off, right? And I got it. And then when I went to them for advice or anything like that, they're like, oh, you think very big, very creatively, and you see the big picture in it. And sometimes you may just have to sit down and edit and go through it and kind of like piece all your big parts together. Because when I sit and explain myself, they're like, what? Wow. Like, how did this person think of that? But yeah, it is just, what I did was, it took me a minute to realize that I needed to have my passion for writing and kind of develop it. And I would do poetry since I was 7 years old. And I developed my passion for writing to a point where now I started to look at it as a business perspective, which is how I got into copywriting. And I really love copywriting because I'm just getting into it, but I love it because it's a type of freedom in writing that I could do blogs for other clients. And my clients are doctors, particularly eye care doctors, and the eye industry, because I work in it. So yeah, that is a little testimony, a little short, that I want to share with you guys, and to really, really use the gifts that you have. And it took me years to put two and two together of what God was trying to tell me, or that hunger, that feeling of like, I have it for something. I have this gift for something, but I couldn't fit the pieces and the timing wasn't right. But it eventually will come together. So I strongly say to use the gifts that you have. And really, parents, if your kids are watching, or you're listening to this, be mindful, pay attention of the little things that your kids may be, really good at, whether it's talking to people, whether it's, putting a smile on people's face, whether it's, having a good time, and being funny. I know your kids may talk a lot, and they could get under your skin, but that type of personality may be good for radio, may be good for TV, media. They may be doing something that way, right? Marsha, it's a gift. Like, I love when kids do that, because I could kind of pick out and see, oh, you'll be good at this, and you might like this. Try it. If they don't like it, they don't like it. But it's in them. It's definitely in them.
Definitely. I agree with you, Jessie. When it comes on to side hustles, I've always had the conversation of, especially in some countries, some third world countries sometimes, where the only time you are allowed to pick up a side hustle, one, if you're at a legal age, and two, only during the holidays. Right? So if it's summer, a job, or something like that, but not necessarily building underneath what it is you're going to school for. For some persons, of course, may not have the type of support that they need financially, and so they do find that they have to, whether or not they have to go ahead and start something, do something to help themselves. But looking at the bigger picture, it's always important. Branding is something that is absolutely spectacular. It's a conversation that is now at the forefront for most young people, and it is so important. I'm thinking if I started my brand when I was much younger, then I would maybe be further along. I'd maybe have more financial investments. I'd be able to do so much more, So it's really important to start early. Yes, and put yourself out there. Very, very important. Put yourself out there. Don't just do something for the money, because the money will go. Or you can do it for the love, not for the likes. Love of it, right? And that should take you a whole lot further.
Yeah, and people truly see when you do it for the love, and don't, like you said, Marsha, not for the likes, not for the amount of followers or anything like that, because once you put in the work, people are going to see. People are going to register with that, and it's quality over quantity. So if you have your work is, has high quality, I'm gonna buy that again. I'm gonna share this with other people. I'm not gonna keep it to myself. But if you're just doing like little stuff here or there, then or it breaks, if you're making something and it's just like, no, charge them. And also with wealth mindset, I want to be very clear with this. If you're doing any handmade stuff or just any business in general, charge the prices that you're worth. A lot of people undercharge themselves because they're afraid of they need to get the next, they need to get their first client, or they need to get. Listen, people who know the value of what you're offering will pay for it.
True.
Do not undercharge yourself.
True. And with time, you're going to get so much more better at it.
We have MIM masterclass that says mindfulness in ministry. That is mindfulness in vocation. Yes. And they said very true.
Yes. Important. Very important. Well, thank you so much for that, Jessie. Very enlightening. Hopefully it will help someone out there who is thinking about a side hustle. And if you haven't started, it's not too late. It is not too late, guys. Go ahead and start today. Today is the day. And while we are at it, we're going to go over to health. And I want us to have a quick conversation. What's happening this month? This month is International Migraine Awareness Month. I'm going to let you start, Jessie, because we had this conversation in the green room.
Yes, we did. And me, Marsha, and I, we both suffer from migraines. So I'm going to read off of mayoclinic.org. If you guys don't know, a migraine can cause severe throbbing and pulsing sensation, usually on one side of the head. It's often accompanied by nausea, vomiting, extreme sensitivity to light and sound. And the attacks can last for a few hours to days, and the pain could be so severe that it interferes with your daily activities. I have had that multiple times. Some symptoms, which often begin in childhood, adolescent, or early adulthood, can progress through 4 stages: prodrome, aura, attack, and postdrome. And not everyone who has migraines goes through all these stages. So the first one, prodrome, you could have constipation, mood changes from depression to euphoria, food cravings, neck stiffness, increased thirst and urination, and frequent yawning. You could have an aura. Some people might have it before or during migraines. It's kind of like a visual phenomenon, or you may have seeing different shapes or colors or flashes of light. We also call this in the eye industry ocular migraine, where you see these phenomenons of light and shapes and stuff like that. A lot of kids recently have been stating that I've seen, but the difference between a regular migraine and an ocular migraine is with the ocular migraine, they just see the visualness, or they're like, this looks like static, or things look swirly, that kind of thing. But they don't have the headache that goes with it. And usually if you guys have kids that are telling you, they're seeing spots or shapes and stuff like that, and there's nothing neurologically wrong with them, it's kind of like a precursor to, as they get older and more adolescent, they may be more prone to migraines. So I just want to let you guys know with that. Or difficulty speaking, hearing noises or music. Then you go and have the attack. During a migraine, you might have pain on one side, or but often both sides, pain that throbs or pulses, sensitivity to light, sound, and sometimes smell and touch, and nausea and vomiting. And then you have the postdrome, which is a migraine attack. You feel drained, confused, washed out for up to a day. And I don't know, Marsha, if you've experienced this, but every time I have mine, I experience that side or both sides that was affected on, that I try telling people, I'm like, I feel like half of me is here and happening is just,
yes.
I can't. It's just, and I
have
tried
to stop.
explaining
It
it
stops
to
your
people.
whole world, Jessie.
It
Like,
does.
for me,
They're
it's
like,
like a whole half of my head going down to my eyes. I do have the light sensitive. Let me say this. Migraines do not run in my family. And the first time I experienced a migraine, it happened for 7 days.
Wow.
7 days. And it was so bad that the strongest pain medication that they prescribed could not work.
Wow.
So my parents at the time, they had to take me to I had to move out of my house, go to another location, and I was locked in a room without windows for about 2 days in order to get a little ease. Because sometimes when you have headaches, people may use like a cold compress.
Yeah.
You may take like a Tylenol or an Excedrin. Excedrin, where I'm from, Excedrin is one of the strongest medications for migraine, but there was another prescribed one that could only be gotten through a doctor and didn't work. I thought I wanted to bang my head against the wall. I just felt like I was out of it. The nausea came on.
Yeah.
It was a horrible feeling, and I had no idea I was suffering from migraine. Sometimes we think, oh, I haven't drank any water. It's now summer. Guys, stay on top of your water.
Stay on top of it. Yep. And I want to, hi, Dr. Faith Walters. Good morning. How are we doing? Good. But yeah, Marsha, I am actually, I have a prescribed medication for my migraines. There have been times where I woke up out of my sleep and literally was just like, yeah, I was like crying, and I was like, someone could chop my head off. I want to chop my head off. Like my whole side went numb. Like my side would go numb. And I remember going to the doctor. My face looked droopy. Like everything was just off. And I went to the ER, and the ER doctor was just like, you know, I have a history of migraines, but I was really nervous. I'm like, is a stroke happening? Like, why is my whole like side numb and like I look pale and everything? And he's like, what do you think? You're having a stroke? You're only 20 something years. And I'm just like, it is so bad. I did an MRI eventually, and they said everything was normal, thank God. But it's just that severe migraine where if it comes on, I would have to, mine's more sound sensitive. Yes, Apostle Faith says, Marsha, welcome to New York. So glad you're
thank you, Apostle. We're going to talk about that a little later.
Yes, we are. But yeah, mine, I would have, like you said, the lights have to be completely off.
Yeah.
Completely off. And I literally would have to kind of like soothe myself kind of mentally to kind of tell my brain like, calm down. Yeah. But I've had nausea to the point where it lasts for days, and I know I have to eat, but it's been so bad that I can't eat, and then I lose weight because I'm not eating, and then it's a whole cycle. But yeah, it is really bad. I do want to say though, Marsha, I don't know if you've tried this, but outside of my prescription medication that I sometimes take before when it comes on, or when I feel it coming on, it also for me comes on sometimes could be very cyclical, like that time of the month kind of thing, like a couple weeks before. And I take magnesium. I take a magnesium supplement every day when I kind of feel it coming on. So if it does happen, it's not anywhere as severe than if I didn't take it.
That's
and yeah, it kind of like something that I could somewhat manage at least throughout the day. So if you have any listeners that are going through migraines and stuff like that, first thing, go see your doctor. But I'm just saying,
professionals.
Right. Go to your medical professional. They may tell you this as well. I know a lot of people who have migraines do up their magnesium. I don't know why magnesium in particular. Maybe we could talk about that another show. But yeah. And Walter says, I've learned that the essential oils is helpful. Oh, I got helpful coupled with our meds. Yes, Apostle. So anything naturally that you can do, with the lavender, and puts it on your pillow or put it on your temples
it's
to
good.
kind of help. Yeah.
Yes. And she also made another important statement. She says, don't say I have, in terms of never claim your illness by saying my illness. Say the doctor says I have. Acknowledge the puzzle. And absolutely true, because the truth is we need to get over all the illnesses that seem to come our way. Thank you so much for that. So mindfulness, yes. And we just have positive confessions inside our inspiration segment. So thank you so much for that. One of the things that worked for me too, Jessie, is when I use my thumb and my index finger, put it on the bridge of my nose and gently press upwards during having a migraine, it helps to ease the pain. That's a type of acupressure. So we have essential oils, we have over-the-counter medication, of course there's prayer, and there's acupressure. And for me it helps because I do not like taking drugs per se. So I always try to go conventional before I say, okay, if it doesn't work, then I will. But just a note, and I'm only saying this, I'm not a medical professional, but just because my mother is a nurse also, there's something called a pain threshold.
Yeah.
So if you are going to take medication or something over the counter, try to take it before the pain reaches a particular peak, because once it reaches that peak, then the medication will no longer be of any use. So be mindful of that as well. Yes, Apostle says, we declare and decree healing of, lift my hands right here, I'm believing God.
Yes.
We declare and decree healing of migraine headaches in the name of Jesus. And we agree by saying, Amen.
Amen. Yes. And I just want to say on top of this prayer, if this is a generational curse, because for me, my family members, a lot of women, we have it, we are going to declare that this curse is gone.
Broken. Yes, we are above the curse. We curse the curse.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And we're going to take a little segue over to an interesting story about mental wellness, right? Where we talk about Miss Naomi, and my screen just got frozen again. Help.
I got you. Oh, wait, hold on, guys. But if you guys don't know Naomi Osaka, she is a tennis player. And earlier this week, she came and said that she is no longer she's going to take some time from tennis after some controversy over media obligations. And Naomi has withdrawn from the French Open, announcing Monday on social media that she will take some time away from the court, one day after she was fined and threatened with harsher sanctions for skipping her mandatory media obligations. Osaka in a lengthy statement said that she never wanted to be a distraction and that her withdrawal is the best thing for the tournament other players, and her well-being. She says, I think I know the best thing for the tournament, the other players, and my well-being is that I withdraw so that everyone can get back to focusing on the tennis going on in Paris. I never wanted to be a distraction, and I accept that my timing was not ideal and message could have been clearer. And I do want to read, this article is coming from ESPN that I am reading from. And she said that Osaka, 23, also revealed that she has experienced depression and anxiety since winning her first major at the 2018 US Open, and explained that speaking to the media often makes her nervous. She apologized to any media members she had impacted with her decision. I am not a natural public speaker and get huge waves of anxiety before I speak to the world's media, she said. I get really nervous and find it stressful to always try and engage and give the media the best answers I can. And this announcement prompted support from a lot of different celebrities. One being 17-year-old American Coco Gauff, who tweeted in response, "I admire your vulnerability," and told Osaka to stay strong. We have another person, Martina N. Sorry, don't want to butcher her name, but she is an 18-time Grand Slam champion that tweeted so sad about Naomi Osaka. And she says, "I truly hope she will be okay. As athletes, we are taught to take care of our body, and perhaps the mental and emotional aspects gets short shrift. This is about more than doing or not doing a press conference. Good luck, Naomi. We are pulling for you." We also have Stephen Curry that said, "You shouldn't ever have to make a decision like this, but so damn impressive taking the high road when the powers that be don't protect their own. Major respect." And lastly, we have Serena Williams that says, "I feel for Naomi. I feel like I wish I could give her a big hug because I know what it's like. Everyone is different and everyone handles things differently. You just have to let her handle it the way she wants to and the best way that she thinks she can. And that's the only thing that I can say. I think she's doing the best that she can."
Wow, Jesse, being a public figure is extremely stressful, and I can say that from my own experience. And I don't think it matters how long you've been a public figure. There are just moments where you are overwhelmed. Yes, you want to pace yourself. Yes, you want to make use of opportunities, but because the inner work of a person is not a destination, but it is something that continues on a daily basis, there are times when we will definitely need to just pull the brakes and say, hey, this is what is happening, and I need to pay some attention to it and get the necessary help that is needed. There is a lot of pressure on public figures to show up.
Yeah.
Not just show up because of team or because of themselves, but because of a contract that is signed. And once you have signed your name on a contract, then, it's a different conversation altogether. We have a comment saying, yes, and yes, definitely. Merging it back to our health segment, definitely, our mental health is important. Okay, so we have MedPage today. Before this, our story was brought to us by ESPN.com, just to put the credits out. And now we move into, after the pandemic, clinicians must prioritize self-care. And this is brought to us by MedPageToday.com. Clinicians must prioritize self-care. Something, again, Jesse, that is extremely important. My screen is still frozen. I always have had a concern for those who are in the medical field, especially during the pandemic, and how they have been, some of them have been going so hard that they have fallen ill to the virus. And so there's one set of medical professionals that have fallen ill, and then there's another set that has to deal with the pressure of not having enough persons to work with. And so they're pushing long hours, pushing very long hours. Let me just pause here to say, we cannot pour from an empty cup, says Bernadette Millink. I hope I did not butcher that name, but absolutely important to say out loud, right? So when we talk about medical professionals who have been under pressure, and they have to be going, it's no joke. It's no joke. You cannot take care of someone else when your own health is at risk. And it is absolutely important for clinicians and other medical professionals to take care of themselves even after the pandemic. The media has constantly referred to healthcare professionals as heroes throughout the pandemic. As Dean of the College of Nursing at OSU, do you worry that this creates an expectation that clinicians put everyone else first? And this is an interview. Healthcare workers, the answer says healthcare workers didn't enter the field to be heroes. They entered because they were really passionate about caring for people. Most clinicians do a great job of caring for everybody else, but they don't tend to prioritize good self-care. Again, we cannot pour from an empty cup. And so we're out of time, but we want to encourage all our healthcare workers. First of all, thank you so much for all you do, for putting your lives at risk for us.
Yes.
But please find some time for yourself. Your mental health is important. Your physical health is important. See somebody, talk to somebody, get some sleep. Make sure that those who create the rotations and the schedules ensure that your team gets enough rest so they are at maximum capacity to serve the public. Wow, this segment was heavy today, Jessie. Definitely.
It was, but it is so needed. I'm so passionate about this, and I hope that it was a blessing and you guys learned some things. Because if any part of this connected with you, feel free. There you go. Feel free to share it with anyone. Anyone that any family member, anyone. Just share it with anyone.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments, how have you been taking care of yourself during the pandemic? Let us know. We'd like to know, what are some of the ways that you take care of yourself? Isolation conversation is a whole other thing we can look at another time, but it's important. Apostle Faith Walters says, I agree about our healthcare workers. During the pandemic, some were unable to see their own families. Serious. Prayers continue to go up for them. We definitely agree, Apostle. And thank you so much for participating by making that comment. Definitely. All right. So with that being said, we are going over to Voice of Truth. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. Famous duo.
Thanks.
Let me know if you're able to hear me, because I think my audio is going in and out.
Yeah, I can hear.
We're good.
Yes.
Awesome. So we are inside our Voice of Truth segment, and today we have with us not one, but two guests. That's awesome, Jessie. Awesome stuff happening. We have with us Coach Racquel, and we also have with us Keith Merritt. Welcome and good morning to you both.
Well, good morning.
Yes, and thank you so much for being on the program today. All right. So I want to have, or we would like to have, a conversation. First, Keith, let me start with you. Talk to us about where you were born, where you grew up, and where you're living now.
Oh, that would take
This
about
is a
5 years.
migration story. Yes.
That would take about 5 years. Oh, Lord. Where was I born? Well, I was born originally in Jamaica, the beautiful island of Jamaica. Yes, in a parish called Trelawney. It is right now one of the most, I would say, maybe undeveloped parishes, but one of the most promising, probably one of the most, I would say, potential to experience advancement and to come to the foreground. So I'm excited about that parish.
Awesome.
And
So
what else do I know? I'm now living in New York. I've been here for quite a while, from a teenager. And the good thing about my story is that I remember a lot about Jamaica, which is very good, like the national anthem, the parishes, the heroes, Paul Bogle, and these people, Sam Sharp. And I also remember the government, the political issues with the JLP and the PNP. I remember things like, the teams, the rivalry with some of the college teams, football-wise. We're big on football and cricket as well. So I remember a lot of Jamaica, the culture, before I came here, which is very good. And then now having experienced my teenage years here, I was able to combine a lot of those things and kind of make me who I am today. I have such a, I think I would say wide perspective. Yes. I think it helps me on how I feel and go about life on a day-to-day basis. I have really good. I try to have good perspective on life. So I'm always usually very happy, usually very bouncy, and positive and and very encouraging. Yeah.
Okay. So speak with us about living in the U.S. as opposed to living in Jamaica in terms of the cultural differences.
Well, that you're going to have to read that in the book that I wrote. I won't give you any snips on that. But anyway, no. But, it's in the book. It's in the book. Yeah, but it's funny because in Jamaica, I was raised in a very tight-knit community. Very, very, I would say, I had many parents. I had many moms and many dads, so to speak. You pretty much had to walk the straight and narrow. All eyes was on you. And worse, having your parents, as a deacon, your dad's a deacon, your mom is a minister. Oh my goodness. So, pretty strict, but a lot of natural fun, a lot of nature fun, a lot of just natural living and eating and just understanding what life can be. I probably should be more so, opposed to being here with the synthetics and the carbs and the bad chips and the stuff that was so unnatural that I end up, I would say, becoming addicted to. But can you hear me?
Yes, yep. I can still hear you, yes. Keith.
Yes. So I got to experience both worlds technology-wise, where where in the States, I got exposed to a lot of things that I would wish for in Jamaica, electronic-wise and just maybe opportunity-wise. I was here, that was able to capitalize on. But very different, you really get to see how life can be broad, and you kind of really get to experience. I would say how to be thankful, because some people don't have both perspectives, they only have one perspective. So when I came here and see how people waste stuff, like back home, I could always get a book to go to school. When over here they throw the books over the floor. They waste lunch, waste food, and I'm like, wow. I mean, we couldn't even afford a book. we had to sometimes borrow books, and sometimes we go to the library, it's not there because it was gone already. And just see the contrast in how people are grateful and thankful and appreciative of what they have. So, I'll give an example. Back when I used to walk 4 miles to school in the hot sun, in the noon, one shoe for 3 years. The shoe got so tight, my toe, was just all messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Came here, I had multiple shoes. I had shoes, sneakers, shoes, choices. It was such a different life. But I'm thankful that I am now seeing where I can reach back. I can see the connection. I can see the connection that we're not that far apart. I think people sometimes they make a mistake of saying we over there, you over there. Really, it's not that. I think it's a lot closer than we think it is. It's a lot more connected than we think it is. Africa and Jamaica and Americans, and you hear things like, "Oh, you from Jamaica? Oh, you from Africa?" And you do have this almost like a disdain look down, and you're like, "Wow," I think my life is probably more quality than yours if you really think about it. People see Africa like a place that, bush and trees and animals jumping around and monkeys. I'm like, what are you thinking here, guys? Wake up.
Yeah.
So I guess now as the world gets closer, people's eyes start to open up like, wait a minute, this is really not what we thought. So yeah, folks who are here, who are building back home in Jamaica, they're building, they're into investments, and we are here sometimes understanding the power of that, thinking that we're here in the land of, the abundance, when you never know, one day we may have to go back home. But but I'm happy for both worlds. I think it was God designed, it was destiny, and I'm here to maximize both worlds. Whatever God put in my hands, how can I use that and I guess spread the goodness. I guess I'm about kingdom building, so whatever area that falls into, then I'm pretty much there. That kind of thing.
Thank you for that, Keith. And we have Apostle Walters in the comments. She's saying, Keith, you are so on point about the cultural differences with Jamaica and the US. Thank you so much for sharing with us about the food, about the worship, about the family life. Let's talk a little bit more about the family life, the differences in terms of, and we're going to go to coach in a minute. When in terms of your siblings and how they adjusted to migrating?
It's funny because that's a great question, because I'm from a family of 7 kids, 7 siblings, and somehow we all didn't come up at the same time. We wasn't meant to happen at the same time, but 5 of us came up. 5 of the siblings came up. So I was left back. I'm a twin, and my brother that we follow. So 3 of us was left back in Jamaica, and 5 was here, at least for 4 years. They were here before we came up. So, when they came, I left from a family of 7, which I was probably close to being the youngest. So a lot of the responsibilities that I had when I was with the entire family that was in Trelawney was a very different picture, very different experience, right? So now when I moved to Clarendon, before I came to the US, I was the eldest of 9 boys. Go figure, right? The eldest of 9 boys. In Jamaica, if you're 1 day older than your siblings, you're considered the eldest. And the way they say, like, you're the oldest one, it's like you're more like 5-10 years older than the others. If you're 1 day older, you're considered the eldest. So I moved from not having that, that leadership role, because I'm way down in the last. My older brothers and the older ones would get the more of the responsibility. Well, you know better, and you should know better, and you should XYZ. So now, here am I flipping now, the whole flipper script. So I'm saying now, Mr. Keith, you should know better. These other young guys are under you. You should know better. I'm like, whoa. Wait a minute. What's going on here? So that was interesting. So we stayed there, and it was a very tough experience, but I learned some things from that tough experience. That's where the music came from, and the passion came from. Survival mode came from. The idea of being creative came from. And I would say I grew up a little faster. As a cook for 10 people, I had to make breakfast, wash my hands, and clean the house, and make beds and all that good stuff. I was like a man-made, man-made. But yeah, it was quite interesting. It wasn't as great going through that time, but looking back, I see how it really impacted me in a very positive way. To where now I'm very independent. And I think that the day I decide to join myself with a beautiful woman, I think she won't worry too much about me being so dependent, on her. I can also be more assistful and helpful in that area. But it was a very interesting experience. I mean, I've been going through what I did, not having my family, contact like because back then, we didn't really have phones like now. We call and so forth. So, it wasn't a lot of communication. So I miss my mom, miss my dad in many aspects, and my siblings. But it was quite interesting. It was a lot of stories for days.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Keith. Yeah. And we have a comment from Apostle Faith. She says, well, I learned quite differently. She migrated at the age of 9 about the Jamaica culture and education system while studying for my Bachelor of Science degree. It was quite an enlightening experience. Thank you for that, Apostle Walters. And with that being said, Keith, based on where you are now in terms of the US, she continues, my apologies, one moment. She says, well, I learned quite differently about the Jamaican culture and education system while studying for my degree. Was quite learning, right? She says, yes, sir. Jamaican children, we have to grow up very fast. Mm-hmm. We are raised as miniature adults, still trying to navigate our way in life.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Apostle.
Yes, you asked the question.
Yes, I was about to ask the question of when you came to America and you saw all the opportunities that were here, and I'm thinking based on what you said before, you might have had the conversation with yourself. How can I connect? How can I connect with the Caribbean or creating a bridge between the US and the Caribbean? Talk to us about that.
It's we can create in some major ways. I mean, we have now acquired technology. The thing that has happened since I was the last 2-3 years, I was very significant. I've done a lot of things in my life. Traveled. I was in a band. Went to Europe. Went to over 40 states on the road traveling. I've gotten into businesses, different kind of home businesses and so forth. Trying to I guess empower myself to hopefully empower somebody else. I've all the dreams when I was younger. Dreams of me getting like a bus load of food or a plane load of food and flying somewhere and just giving it out. Always must have doing some major things, going somewhere, giving out thousands of basketballs or footballs to kids, communities. These little visions that I had when I was much younger. But many years ago, I had a little like a premonition or something, like a flash, and I saw radio, and there was someone what was close to me who was doing radio, and I said, if I was on the radio someday, it'll be different. It'll be probably provocative and maybe a little, a little bit thought provoking, not the regular humdrum. And some amazing way, last 2.5 years, I ran into a very, very interesting, gifted young lady named Coach Racquel. And we kind of connected, and it was I think it was a divine connection. And as we communicated, we realized that there was something there, and she saw something there that I didn't even realize or even pay attention to, but she kind of enlightened me in some ways that I realized that, what, she's in Jamaica and I'm here, but there was no bridge. I didn't see a bridge. I saw minds meeting. I saw thoughts and ideas. I saw potential. I think sometimes we look so much in people's skin, whether they're male, female, old or young, and we cut off the potential of what can be or what is supposed to be. and not see their natural gifting and what God has put in place. Anyway, we decided to come together and form a duo, so to speak, and order for small, simple, finding happy program that she had before. She had started before. It's called Finding Happy.
Yes.
To join her as she invited me on so willingly and so such open arms. And from there, came a media company, UDMI. And I mean, and it's like it's been history since. And if you look online today, there are thousands and hundreds and thousands of different programs, different video, different shows or different channels. And here we are amongst all of those. And I think to find ourselves here now, after 2.5 years and growing and expanding, running to Jesse, oh my goodness, powerful blessing. Marsha, we knew musically, working in the studio. Oh God, kind of put this one together in a way where it's like, wow, how did this happen? And here we are. We're reaching, over like.
Yes, let me interject right here, because we also have with us a giant herself, Miss Racquel Reese.
Yes,
and
indeed.
She is one half of the dynamic duo in terms of UDMI. She's an equal partner of UDMI. And I just want to say welcome to you, Miss Reese. And I would like to take the side of your story that led to the collaboration of this unique joint venture.
Okay.
So tell us about your journey.
I feel a little out of place. I thought this was Keith's story, to be honest. And I'm just going to say this, no matter, regardless of how it lands, I think it's very important when we introduce women in business, how we do it. I didn't quite like being introduced like that, where you had Keith's story. And maybe it's the woman in me and the way women are treated in business, as though I was an afterthought of his story. And that's not how this started. So I just want to note that, because it's important for us to note, yes, that we have our separate story. And, because I thought you were really interviewing Keith on his story. So I just wanted to say that. We have to be conscious as to how, because there is a disenfranchisement and a marginalization of women in business. So just that consciousness there that I want to state. So the question is, please repeat it for me.
I would like you to share your story with us, your journey.
Hope you can see me.
Yes, we can.
We can see.
Of being a serial entrepreneur, not just a serial entrepreneur, but a very successful one. I would say, I'm searching for words, but you are in high demand in your field. And so just wanting to know your story.
Okay. So thank you for asking. Thank you for having me on your show. I'm a little girl that was born and raised in this hilltop in Manchester. It is a literal hilltop. In kind of a sort of a hut, with my father, who had no clue what to do with a little girl. So he just decided I'm going to love her. And so he filled me with a lot of love and consciousness. And so I grew up being a child, understanding that I did not have a lot at my disposal, but I was going to leverage everything at my disposal. And so at 8 years old, I leveraged the cross. And I started listing, the way I interpreted the cross. I was thinking to myself, how do I use this thing? Since everybody's saying it's such a big deal, Christ died on the cross, everybody's talking about the cross. So my young mind was thinking, okay, so what am I supposed to do with it? So I used it to say, okay, on one hand, this is what I have. And on the other hand, this is what I could do with it. And all the things I had were natural things like darkness and birds and trees, right? Those were the things I had. And I started saying, okay, So this is how I'm going to use it. And that kind of fashioned the way I lived my life, because my father, he was very, I didn't understand at the time, but he cultivated a way of thinking in me. He read everything. So he read my textbooks. He was like, I was a chapter ahead of everybody because he was going to quiz me ahead of time, so I grew up kind of that way, a little bit different from Keith's experience. I didn't have both parents. So I never really, I think I met my mother, and this is just based on my own recollection. So others may have a different recollection, but this is mine. I think I was about 13 or so when my father, he discovered where she was staying, and he just kind of snuck up on her and brought me there because I was always asking for her. So I was a rejected child. My mother never really accepted me when I was young. And so I was kind of, very early on, I knew I was on my own kind of thing. So for me, I was forced to have a positive outlook or my situation would just have been, I don't know what my situation, I would have been empty. So I was forced to look for, what do I have here? And so I grew up with that kind of mindset, sent myself to school, went to Manchester High School, went to Northern Caribbean University, pursued coach certification. I went to Leicester University, where I started my master's degree. But regrettably now, I left because I didn't want to do the dissertation. It's not that I just didn't want to do it. It's that it was financially taxing on me. And I thought to myself, I started having, conscious thinking. And I'm just like, why are you doing this? Why are you sacrificing like this? Like, how do you use your skills that you have now to gain whatever it is you want? And so I went on a mental campaign to get into rooms and to get into programs, and I ensured. And so I decided I wanted to be an entrepreneur from early. I didn't know it was entrepreneurship. I just knew that I wanted to own me, right? Because I felt like I was bounced around for so much, because I was in an informal sort of foster care system. I would stay with the people my father worked with would take me in. My teachers took me in because they used to say, "Oh my God, she's so bright!" Like, So I was only. I felt at the time I was only appreciated for whatever my brain could do, and so I mastered that, not because I wanted to be smart, but because I felt like, oh, that's what's going to get your attention. That's what's going to get me what I want. Then that's what I'm going to do. And so I did that. And then because I wanted to become an entrepreneur, I used to watch BBC a lot. Those were the people I admired. My dream was to work with BBC. That was it, because they were professional and thoughtful, and just the way they did what they did it wasn't even inspire me. It caught my attention. It was like, I like that, And so I told myself, all right, the only way for me to get to that, I need to get into government. I need to work with international companies. I told myself this. So I took those steps and I went to work for government. I worked on like UN projects and stuff, funded stuff. And I started my first company in 2009, Advanced Media Production, which is what later became UMERADIO, actually. It's more than the podcast.
Yeah.
Little did I know at the time that this was going to be this. But what happened to us then is it started making money so fast. So we're in meetings with like multi-million-dollar projects and things like that. And I think what happened is the purpose wasn't there. So there were 4 of us when we started, then it dwindled down to 2. And then we were winning and losing projects because we weren't quite clear on what are we here for. And then they were the same, which is why at the beginning I said that, because I had a hard time being a woman in business, right? And then so it was tough time, but I worked at I was in media for a long time. My first job was with Stuart, which I'm so thankful for, because he really cultivated me a customer service mindset and understanding. And then I worked in government to understand systems and how to build a sturdy system around what you're doing. And that exposed me to a whole lot of other things. And so, and I own my pain. So I'm a child of rejection. I call it dejection because I felt discarded and rejected. So I'm a child of that. But it's okay. You can reject me because no, I've actually learned that nobody owes me anything. I belong to God. So it's okay. Yes. So that's I think somewhat of my story.
Well, I said, please don't reject me, please. Please don't reject me.
Rejection is a blessing. Rejection is a blessing. Yeah, rejection is a blessing. It's God really just weeding out those things you don't need. And so, and I, even with my mother, and I just want to say this because I honor her so much and I love her. She had to reject me. She was a woman unloved. You know, and I think if I was with her, I would have soaked in so much of that I don't know that I would have been as strong of mind as I am now had she been around like that. So I know she didn't choose to reject me, but based on the purpose of her life, that was the path that God allowed for her. So she didn't reject me. God just decided he wanted to raise me himself. That's how I see it anyway.
So I suppose we could say count it all joy, yeah?
I don't count it joy. It's pain. No. Let me be clear. It's pain and it's daily pain. I'm still dealing with it right now. I can't even watch a mother and child do anything right now. And I don't know what happened recently, but it's been even worse. So it is pain. I don't count it joy, but I understand that. I understand what is happening and that's there's greater purpose. I'm here for a purpose, and that's what matters. It's not how I feel or what I desire. It's purpose that matters. At least that's how I'm choosing to see it. So,
and the purpose brings you joy. The purpose brings you joy. What do you say? The purpose that you.
I would say purpose brings me healing. That's what I would say.
Gotcha.
I don't know that purpose brings me joy, but I cultivate joy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing, Coach Racquel. Before we continue, we just want to acknowledge the comments in our comment section, Jessie. What are they saying over there?
Yeah, so they are saying, well, Apostle Faith Walter saying, having to meet Jessie as well is an added compliment to the team. God bless you. I love to always hear Racquel tell her story. Very inspirational each time I hear it. Which is
to God be the glory.
So true. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Apostle Walters. Now we want to kind of segue a little bit into a conversation of international empowerment. So we have heard both your stories, and we've seen where humble beginnings are now going into something that is more than just about you. Talk to us, Coach Racquel, about UDMI in terms of, yes, we'll go ahead and let's have a conversation.
Okay, so if I may, I'll start with how I met Keith. Keith and I own this company, or we are the custodian of this company called UME Digital Media Inc., right? And that's why we're here. And I want to start at how I met Keith because I didn't really meet Keith. I remember I was in a conversation with one of his brothers, and he took the phone and he spoke to me for 55 minutes. And I mean, I laughed the entire time. I don't remember if I said a word.
Hey, I didn't take the phone. I kind of took.
Well, you did take the phone because I remember he didn't even get the chance to say. I literally, like, I could hear you just. I don't know how it happened there. I'm giving you my experience, and I'm okay with the experience for what it is. But that was how I met Keith. And I remember he was just this happy-go-lucky person. I remember at one point in time he was talking about dating and that was the conversation. And I remember being on the phone thinking, oh, this is odd. You know, okay. I don't really know you, but he was just having his conversation. But it was such a filling conversation. It was such a happy conversation. I think it was something new for me. Not that I didn't have fun conversations before. It was just different because he didn't know. Well, I assumed he didn't know who I was. And in my mind, I felt like it wasn't connected to work because everything I've done has been connected to work, right? At least my experience. And from there, I had him on my show, Finding Happy. And after he started, I interviewed him first, and then he became a co-host on the show.
Uh-oh.
Yes,
just like that.
And yes, just like that. And then after that, we were getting so many responses, and there were persons started reaching out to me because they wanted to come on the show. And to be honest, I didn't want to have anyone on the show because that was not the goal of the show. So I decided, okay, maybe I just need to create something different for them because I don't like meeting people really. I'm very introverted.
That was so interesting to me. Like, wow.
I know people say that, but I am extremely protective of my energy and my space. And, so I didn't want to meet anyone, but then Keith came on and then we started co-hosting the show and then it just kind of bubbled over. And then we started the radio. Yes. We started the radio station, and then from there we had to have a business because now the radio station was not just doing airplay. No, persons were actually seeking to do business with us, and it just kind of. Keith, what happened? I remember most time Keith were just, what is happening? What is happening? And then I'd call him sometimes and Keith would say, hold on. This is what happened? Like, what are we doing now? It was just getting out of control. Go ahead, Keith.
It's funny because, as you mentioned earlier, that women have been marginalized over the years. For too long, I think. And the thing is that, when Christ came, if you look back in the Bible, there were some key pivotal moments when a woman came in the picture. Have you noticed that? It wasn't so much the amount or how many women did, but it was those key moments. Like the birth of something so new. The virgin birth. All right? Like when he rose from the tomb. Those are key moments. Who saw him first when he rose from the tomb? A woman. I mean, you go down the list. So you'll find that there are definitely not many Racquels around. For years, I've looked try to find someone who I would consider a mind, maybe selfishly, but I'm always willing to give anyway. Whatever I think, like I always said, we all have an agenda, and it's okay to have an agenda. But what's the motive? What's the plan behind it? What's the real heart of it? That's what's important. God has an agenda. We have to have an agenda too. So I wanted somebody who could do stuff I couldn't do. Anything computerized and technical, I was Mr. Not Know It. You know what I'm saying? I was like, the computer gonna blow up. If I press that key, it'll blow up. I was concerned that this thing gonna flip out of me, man. I'm serious. And she made it look like it was like nothing, like she lived for this thing. Like, are you serious? And then not only that, but she saw the thing ahead of time. Like she could connect the dots. I'm like, this is incredible. I'm like, I think it's a match made in heaven. You know what I'm saying? So it was really great to see how she, I would say, passionately, and she was so visionary in her approach that I felt like I said, I felt like it was really a divine thing. And of course, like anyone, it's like a marriage. What is your male, female, male, female? When it comes together in business, it's like a marriage. You have to negotiate. You have to maybe fight sometimes, argue and kick and scream. It wasn't me. It's your fault. My fault. Blame the game and don't want to say I'm sorry. Don't want to apologize. It's a part of the real thing. This is real. Real tears, real hurt, real words. So you learn these things and you realize that at the end of the day, you get to see what you're made of. And what we're made of is vision. We're made of purpose. We are going to make it happen. We're going to touch 1 million lives, period. Right? So that became the theme. So all those people came along and came in part of us, and joined our network, kept hearing the same word. We want to touch 1 million.
Yeah, that was kind of one of the things that connected us too, because for me, I had just gone through something where God said to me, I should change my coach ministry because I was not happy about it because I felt like I was getting these projects, right? I do consultation with the government and stuff. And I remember it's like he was saying to me, I needed to change it, transform that. You're going to transform lives, 1 million lives. That's what I want you to do. And I remember I was struggling with that. But that was one of the things that connected me and Keith when he also had the 1 million. It was interesting because then I had to kind of shift what I was doing, because most of what I was doing was public relations and and media communications and strategy and building communication consultation is most of what I was doing, and building strategies and things like that. So it kind of shifted. So when I met Keith and when he was having that conversation with me, I was like, something. That's something here. Yes. And I remember one of the unique things that happened is I think it was somebody that I knew recommended me for the Cornell University. They were in partnership with Bank of America, and they had a women entrepreneurship program. And when I enrolled in that program, they wanted us to do a sample project, and so I threw in this project. I used this project as for all my assignments and stuff like that, which also, and so they poured back into it indirectly, because they didn't really know that was something. Well, the teacher later found out, and she was like, "This is really smart," So I just, because like I said, I always use what's in front of me. So it also helped with as I was building it, and what I'm going to speak about now is, because like I heard Jesse talk about the Hustle Nation thing, the side Hustle Nation thing, which was why I think this interview is so relevant, right? Because after I started doing that course, and then I started it, literally, that being a part of that course, I used the course to build the business.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yes. And so, and it's funny because I'm mostly home, most of the people I communicate with are not necessarily in Jamaica either. And so when I connected with Keith and he was responsive, I knew that a connection was being made because things were being aligned that I wasn't asking for. And then I had just done my international certification for coaching. And, it's not like I had planned that either. So things were just falling into place. Yes. Yeah. And so I decided to be water and flow with it. And so we started this company together, UME Digital Media Inc. And now we have the UDMI brands. And what we do is we oh gosh, everything, like I said, everything just falling into place, because we also got into a time where no more than ever, Blacks in America, it's important for Blacks in America to connect back with countries outside, Black countries. Yes, and I remember even listening to Dr. Umar Johnson and just the dreams and the visions I was having. Like, I get visions. So like once someone starts talking, I start seeing the outcome of things, right? It's just a natural gift that I have. But as I heard him talk, I'm telling you, God would just lead me to these. He was just putting things in place, and it was just flowing. And we realized the need for Black power to defend Blacks, especially Blacks in America, right? Or in those developed countries where economic mattered, right? And then we realized that a lot, even like Yandy's her name, Yandy Smith and stuff, she started doing it in Africa as well. And so we realized, as we're going along, I realized that, this is what he's calling us for. And I remember back in 2016, God had said something to me, but I didn't know how to place it because I was not going to work with church people. When he said, you've made a lot of people, secular people, wealthy, I needed to help my people. I didn't quite understand at the time. He had to take everything I had from me for me to understand that sentence. Okay, literally, because I wouldn't have moved because I was so comfortable where I was. And as we started working on this together, and Keith has been it's the first real relationship I've ever had. It's a business, but I'm better at business relationships anyway, right? But it's the first of a relationship I've had with one person for a long period of time on something, on anything, for any reason, right? Because even my dad was in my life, but we never had that closeness. So I never really had closeness with people, like that kind of consistent closeness.
Especially during COVID,
where we have to interact all the time. We have to talk all the time. We have to in each other's, space kind of thing all the time. And we've built this, as Jesse was talking, and I'm going to share it. why it's so relevant that we started this business, because as she was talking about the side hustles and what people are doing now, and online businesses being one of the number one side hustles, and it won't be. And I know this particular article is talking about side hustles, but I'm waiting to see the research about businesses and the ones that are thriving. Because if you look at the Amazons and the Googles and the Yahoo for so long that we never really thought about the Hotmail and the Gmail and the Outlooks, the MSNBCs and stuff. If you look at it, technology businesses have a history of being very successful, correct? And online is still technology, still ICTs, right? And so sometimes we separate it, but it's important for us to understand what's important and understand the essence and the business of digital enterprising, because that is what we do. We're a digital enterprising business providing solutions for digital entrepreneurs and businesses. And so, yeah, what I think we've managed to do something very unique, where we have built a network around our business. One of the challenges, when I did my research, one of the challenges that Black businesses had was the DIY approach, where the do-it-yourself approach. And there's no way you can. I always say this: if one person is standing in a room, can they fill the room out? No matter how fat you get, you can't fill out the room, right? Because if you fill the room out, then you're dead, right? So the only way to fill the room, the only way to expand, is to add more people to what you're doing, right? So right. And then I realized why I had all the experiences I had and why I went into all the rooms I've been into, because a unique project like this was going to come, and the need for Black empowerment was going to come, and God was going to position us. I believe God positioned Keith and I for this. What I see every day in interacting with Keith is purpose all the time, you know. And so that's what we've been doing. And I've been talking for a while, so you've got no questions in, so I'm going to stop now.
Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing, Anya. And it's very important too, especially in this age, in terms of number one, international relations. We talk about expansion. We talk about empowering 1 million. Jamaica alone, you know, the population alone, I just won't do in terms of purpose. So you already went into my next question, which would have been, why is it so important to connect with people of color and help them get to that place,
right,
where they need to be?
Well, number one, you need them. If you're Black in America, you need Black out of America.
Yeah, that's true. And again, the importance of this also is that ownership is also important, not only to have, but to show and to demonstrate, because you have to have control over your voice. You know, the media controls the world pretty much to media, if I can say it like that, because that's really the what really sets the stage. The narrative was to come. You know, the word in the beginning was the word. You know, and the word is very powerful. Who controls that narrative?
Whoever controls the word.
There we go. So therefore, here we are with this machine, and how it was funny. So when I first heard Jesse's voice, I was like, "Yep, she's the one." I didn't see her face. I heard her voice, like, "Oh my God, yes!" And
that's exactly what he came and said.
Yeah, that's a
That's a whole story, guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't know what you know or what you don't know. I said, "Listen to her voice. Answer what you feel." Like, oh my goodness, we just knew that was it. We all clicked at the same time. That's divine, you know. You can't make those things up. It has to happen in its own time. So again, it's a great platform, I believe, and having the control to really bring folks on and expose people who want to be under the bushel or may not know what they have. You know, bring it out, stir it up. You know, like tea and tea bag and hot water. You know, bring it out. The fragrance, the smell, the aroma, and we can have a beautiful tapestry, you know, over time. And that's what
and just to answer your question, to add to that, I did get my dream. I did connect with BBC, and they actually did want me to produce 13 episodes of a documentary that I did. So I'm connecting it right back to what he said. I did a documentary in 2000. between 2009 and 2010. We, like I said, we started, it was advanced media production. It was me and my partner at the time, my boyfriend. And like I said, I'm not good at social, so I don't know how to lead a social conversation. So even that we got together, my thing was business because that's all I know, right? I didn't really grow up in a family, so I don't know what social, all of that is about, except for what I've read. But business, I grew up with people who run businesses, so I know how to do that. And so in 2009, we did a documentary because it's funny because I used to work in media. I worked with all the media companies. I remember there was this media personality. Persons used to be, I was an editor, and persons was like afraid to come to me. Because I would be like very direct, and you have to be like, why are you here? You're here for? Like, get to it. I don't like people infringing on my time. Like, I'm very like, yeah, it's not scary, but yeah. And I remember she came to me and she said, I want you to produce my story. And I was just like, no, I don't want to produce a story. Like, why would you even want me to do? Like, because, you know? And I remember she was like, I've looked at all your work. I've done my research. I know how you work. I know that you're objective, you are professional, and you won't sensationalize my story. And I trust your work. I trust you because of your work. I was still just like, nah, I pick my projects. I'm very selective about what I do because it represents me, kind of thing. And if you're working with me, then I'm going to want it done a particular way, you know? And I remember she said, oh yeah, you're the one I want. She was very successful too.
You're the one. You're
and
the
then
one.
She told me her story. Yeah, and it took me some time because I did my research and stuff like that. And then I agreed to do it. It was called Our Very Own Locked Up Abroad. And when we did that story as a cautionary tale for Caribbean nationals to stay away, to be deterred from engaging in the drug trafficking industry, right? We really did it for young girls. And when we did that, it was actually endorsed by BBC. And we won the award that year. And they wanted us to do more. But again, there was no purpose behind what we're doing. And if I'm not clear on what I'm doing, it's very difficult for me to proceed because I'm not a random, because I already understand what poverty is. And so I understand that everything I do will impact me. And so that is why I'm so strategic in everything I do. And I'm not mindless. I'm not a mindless wanderer. I'm not. I'm very mindful and aware of what's happening. And I use everything at my disposal. Right. And so it did come true for me. I felt like when I got that endorsement from BBC and I had the opportunity to go there to whatever, to work with them, that was enough for me. And I was good with that. So when we did that, it was back in 2009. I remember I left the company. I gave up my shares and everything in the company. I just walked away from it. And I remember it was back in 2019, Keith. And I was saying to him, I kept getting this email from YouTube about the account. And I was just like, I tried logging in, couldn't access it. I was having issues with those who had the account. And I was like, forget that. Because I walk away from things very easily. Right? Yeah. And he was like, oh no, I think you should really pursue that. And in the same day that I see to pursue it, I got in and I realized that, we had so many thousands and thousands of views and things like that. And then, that opened up a whole other thing. Why am I raising this issue? I'm raising it because of even how Keith started the conversation. I'm raising it because we're in an age now where we far too long, we've gone through, oh, I'm over here and you're not. And so when you come over here, bow down, and the thing is, and let me wrap this up. The thing is, I didn't have anyone to ever help me travel, and I've traveled and I have a 10-year visa, did it on my own. And so I think that's demonstration that though Blacks in America may think we need them because of what they call it, the money, I don't know what they call it, the money that you send back for your family or whatever.
Remittances.
Money transfer, remittances. Right. So I think there's a misconnection where they think, oh, you need my remittance, I'm more important than you. Wrong. You need us more than we need you, which is why you send back so many remittances. Right? People don't pay for nothing. People pay for value. no matter who you are to them. People pay for value. There's something they get out of connecting back home. And because it's important where you were born and where your lineage comes from. It is important, right? Even if you can't see it, it is important. So when we built UDMI and built a network around it, we were also very keen that we needed a media company. We needed a media company also with it, so that we have a voice, so we can create a new reality. And I have to say that I've been so proud just sitting and watching positive Black media on our channel, right? And just seeing multiple Black people who are successful talking in one show, right? Didn't really see that before. And so we wanted to do that. But we also realized that because, well, for me, I didn't want to work with church persons, but Keith is also a church person and have the mindset and everything, and others around me. So we did our research and we realized that God is also trying to direct us into the direction of faith-based.
Yeah.
So we have, though we have different clients, we pay special attention to faith-based to make sure that we produce work that is able to stand up against high budget projects,
that's
right?
important.
Because oftentimes, right, faith-based projects, the quality is often, not usually, but often low. And so we want to do it differently, and we have the training and the skill set to do that. And so we set out to do that.
Yes, and if I could jump in here, I really appreciate that, because it's one thing I've noticed with Coach Racquel as a leader, how she seeks for excellence, and she also seeks to bring out the best in who she works with. I hope we're not going over too long with our segment, guys.
Yes, I was actually about to interject because we may need to do a part 2 to this. But before you go, quickly, just tell us how we can connect, how we can support UDMI, or collaborate rather.
Coach? You can take it out so we can move on.
Well, you can go to www.udmibrands.com and you can learn more about us. How you support us is to love yourself, value yourself.
Yes.
And put your best foot forward. Seek to own your time so you can create your own reality, your own world.
Yeah.
If you need support, digital support, we're here for you. I've been saying to persons, coming these coming years, you're going to have to think of your digital representative or consultant or worker like you think of your accountant and your lawyer, because all the compliance and everything that's happening online, running a business, right? So you're going to have to make sure you get someone you can trust, someone you can have confidence in to handle your digital, because you're going to be so vulnerable, right? Because those footprints that you make online will never be forgotten. Do not be fooled. Those however you position your brand, someone can just dig it up and come back and it's here in your face again. So you support us by supporting yourself. Support the Black community. Find a person of color who's doing something and show up. And by showing up, I'm not talking about money. I'm not talking about just show up in whatever way. That's how you support us. Just support the Black community. Empower one that they can empower somebody else. And you can go to udmibrands.com to learn about what we do. We're very selective with who we work with. And we go by referral. It's like this exclusive club, because the reason we do that is not because we want to leave anybody out. It's because we have to become very conscious of we work with people who are ready. You have to be you have to really be ready, because many people are not ready, and you have to value what we do. So yes, I don't know if I answered your question, but that's my best
Yes,
shot.
you did. Yes, you did. Thank you both, Racquel and Keith from UDMI for being here this morning and to sharing your heart with us. And, guys, go ahead and check it out. All right. And so now we are going to be having a conversation inside the segment, Because of You, We Can, with Miss Lauren Carter. Hello, Lauren. I think you're on mute. Oh, okay, great. Hello, Lauren. Good morning and welcome. And thank you so much for being here with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. You recently had your fundraiser, your virtual fundraiser. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, well, the fundraiser was awesome. We had DJ KTE who played the national anthem via saxophone. We had artists. Jess gave us a poem, a very inspirational, awesome poem. We had someone that sang a medley, and we had great speakers. Unfortunately, the Gold Star mother that was scheduled to speak, she had an emergency, and then I was able to get another veteran, but he got caught up in the veteran activities, the Veterans Day activity, the Memorial Day activities on Monday. So he was not able to make it. But other than that, we had a great time. We also featured a scholar from Mount Vernon who was going on to Harvard on a full scholarship. So it was a great, great fundraising event.
I want to take this time to say thank you so much for even hosting it on Memorial Day, because it shows a lot of things. It shows, one, that you are in awareness of current events, what's happening. Some persons may say, why Memorial Day? Look, it's a holiday. People have so many things to do. But the fact that you paid attention to it and you even hosted an event on that particular day, it speaks volumes about your commitment to country and commitment to community, and also to those who are veterans or who have died. So thank you so much for that. I want to segue into your influence and your impact. And so we have a clip here from that event from Mr. Paul Prisondew. I hope I called the name correctly. Where he speaks about finding himself as a leader through serving you.
We're going to hear from her right now. Again, she'll be talking about the history of Mount Vernon, and she's a long-standing resident of Mount Vernon. Here we have Miss Antoinette. Go ahead.
Memorial Day, we think about, especially us as young leaders, the sacrifices that were made by our predecessors and people that really paved the way for us to have this experience in America, especially us as young Black men. The sacrifices that were made by people trying to prove that we could have an equal stand in society, and making that ultimate sacrifice towards being involved in the military, even during periods of time when we weren't treated as equal members of society. So these people that went on to World War I, especially going back into the Civil War and World War II, and these people that went and put their lives on the line, the family members that sacrificed these people, it really is the epitome of service to this country, to your community, and, to the world, because you're setting an example. So, me, as I'm, finding and discovering myself as a leader in Westchester County, City New Rochelle, I really look up to people that I know embody service, people like Lauren Carter William in the city of Mount Vernon. When I was working in Mount Vernon in 2019 as helping him as a sustainability coordinator, it wasn't an easy time. As many of you may know, 2019 wasn't the best year for the city of Mount Vernon, but people like Lauren really made me feel comfortable asking me if I ever needed help. She was always there. She was sending me emails like, Paul, do you need help with anything? Whenever she saw me in the hallway, she gave me a nice smile and said, Paul, if you need anything, please stop by my office. And I always took her up on that. I would stop by her office and she helped me out. She helped me access legislation from the past, helped me access how documents for drive work. And I know there was one specific issue when recently the city of Mount Vernon passed their tree ordinance. And Lauren may not know this, but she played a very key role in that process as deputy city clerk. I keep calling her deputy city clerk, but for me, she was a city clerk for Mount Vernon at that time, because the city tree committee, they wanted to get a piece of the copy of the bill of the tree ordinance that the city council tried to pass back in 2017. It was vetoed by the former mayor, Richard Thomas. And I was having a very difficult time trying to get that legislation. And then Lauren, helped me get that legislation, and and I was able to share it and able to find out and really help pass, what really now is a tree ordinance there for the city of Mount Vernon. So she helped really open up and really made herself accessible. So as right now, as we really observe Memorial Day, we really want to make sure that we use the example of people that have made the ultimate sacrifice in our military and really stand on their shoulders and use them to inspire us as we locally try to assume our position of leadership. And really, when you are trying to assume a position of leadership, it's really important that you empower the people that inspire you to be a leader. And these are people like Lauren Carter Williams, especially now that I'm working for Sustainable Westchester and on a county level looking at municipalities. There's not too many city clerks out there, not too many people that are public servants. So it'll be really great. And I know Mount Vernon will have an invaluable community servant leader in Lauren Carter. And we look forward to the great things that she will do for the community of Mount Vernon. And thank you, Apostle Dr. Faith, for giving me this opportunity to share a couple of words.
Wow.
Wow.
And Lauren, I have a quick question before, real quick, we have a comment from Apostle Faith Walters that said, "Good morning, Miss Lauren Carter. Great to see you again. We are in the crunch down time to your win on June 22nd. Yes, we are.
Yes, good morning, Apostle.
And I have a question. How do you feel just being that mentor and leader to not just the community and just to youth in general, like Paul said, and where did you also learn these leadership qualities? Was it naturally to you, or was it, family based?
Well, yeah, I would have to say that the leadership abilities probably came from my faith and family, and probably naturally because I was never trained in that capacity. So I would say just my faith and naturally just having a care for people and concern for people and just trying to help people, impart to them wisdom that I've acquired over the years.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Jesselyne.
Okay, and I have one more. Piggyback on that, how does it feel to see your quality shine in other people? And for people who want to develop the leadership qualities, or maybe they're mentor themselves, might be aware of how to do it properly, what are some advice that you can give to other people?
Well, to hear the comments that were made about me, I would have to say they're humbling and inspiring. Actually, since I've been on the campaign trail, I have had people make comments to me and they said, well, I'm going to support you, Lauren, because you were there for me. You helped me with my business. You helped me with this particular problem. And I did it not knowing I was going to run for council. I just did it because I'm a servant. That's just who I am. Again, my faith. But it is definitely humbling and inspiring. And I would just say to people who are looking to be leaders, just do it from the heart. Do it because you really care about people. You're committed to people, not because you're trying to get a title, not because you're trying to make a name for yourself or you're trying to be seen, but really just do it from the heart. If you really care about people and you want to help them, then I think that you'll be able to lead.
Yes, and we have Apostle Faith Walter. Sorry, Marsha. I just want to read that comment real quick. She said, "Yes, Miss Lauren is very supportive and willing to help in any capacity to ensure that you're a satisfied client. Such an experienced and purpose-driven leader."
Definitely.
Thank you for those comments.
Well said and agreed. All right, so now we're going to go to a clip from Mr. Reginald Lafayette, who is the Democratic chair, current Democratic chair.
Is a capable young woman who I knew for her whole term in government. Lauren, as a deputy city clerk, from planning board secretary, knows the ins and outs of the government. I think she will be a fine addition to the Mount Vernon City Council, and I urge everyone who can hear my voice to contribute to her campaign. that will make her successful in achieving the goal to be a city councilwoman. So give to Lauren until it hurts, and give to Lauren until you can't give no more. Thank you.
That's awesome. Thank you very much.
Mr. Reginald Lafayette, and powerful sentiment there from Mr. Reginald Lafayette, Democratic Chair from Mount Vernon. Lauren, how does it feel to have the endorsement of Mr. Lafayette?
Oh, well, I would say that it's an awesome feeling to have the support of the Democratic City Committee and the chairperson, Reginald Lafayette. And initially, I mean, it's nobody but God, because initially I didn't have the support. You know, there were 3 council openings, 3 council seats this year. So when the Democratic district leaders got together to nominate the people they wanted to represent them, after 2 rounds of voting, I came in 4th place.
Wow.
Because someone who had placed in the top 3, she was actually number 3. She chose to decide to continue to run with another slate. So she was told, well, you have to make up your mind. You can't run on 2 slates. And because she really decided to continue with the other slate, she was removed. And then since I was in 4th position, moved up.
Wow.
So it was God. And really, that has never been done before. So, it was really God to have this support.
Absolutely agree with you. And, the testimonials, they don't lie. We have Apostle Faith Walters, and she's saying, yes, God raises up leaders which are birthed out of having the passion to working with others, certainly loving your neighbor as yourself. Well said, Apostle. Definitely agree with you there. So, Lauren, we've looked at you empowering youth. We've looked at you being endorsed by your leader. And now we're going to have a quick conversation about the community feeling empowered because of you. And so now we're going to go to a clip from Mr. John Carlo Bautista. And in the meantime, Lauren, in terms of the community, there we go.
Hi, everybody. My name is John Carlo Bautista. I'm a 15-year resident of Mount Vernon, and I'm a second-term district leader here. Lauren Carter's passion is the people. I've never seen Lauren not involved in Mount Vernon, whether it's in politics, in her faith, or in her community. I see her every Saturday handing out food to people all around Mount Vernon. I see her out, helping with small businesses and promoting to see what kind of any resources they need during the COVID-19 pandemic. When she began this campaign, we went around to different neighborhoods in Fleetwood. We went to downtown Mount Vernon, on Lincoln Avenue, and Sanford, where we handed out flyers and promoted any kind of needs that any of these small businesses need during COVID. And one of the other things that she was also very passionate about too is planning. Lauren Carter was the only candidate that is a planner that's running for city council. And she is very passionate about making sure that Mount Vernon gets its comprehensive plan done so we can start developing Mount Vernon in the right way, not the wrong way, where we increase the amount of commercial development rather than putting the main burden on homeowners when it comes to over developing residential housing. And one of the other things she also is very passionate about is making sure that we address the issue with police misconduct in our community and make sure we have police reform, where we're seeing the senseless violence between the police and members of the community. She's also very, very passionate about being involved with the youth, and making sure that we have programs for our youth so that we don't see the violence that leads to the amount of police presence that we have in Mount Vernon. She is going to be, she is going to continue to be involved as she was from the beginning when she was born here, and she's going to continue being involved when she's a member of the city council. Originally she wasn't sure whether she was going to run for city council or not, but I think it was the best kind of thing direction she had after she left, being deputy clerk. So she's always been involved in the city. So if we definitely want to support her. We want to support her, Andre Wallace, and Janice Duarte for city council so that she has the support she needs to pass legislation that she wants to introduce when she's on the city council. So please, whether you have $1, $5, $100, $500, please donate to Lauren because she is the only candidate running for city council that is not taking any contributions from developers, lobbyists, or special interests. Thank you.
Wow.
I think you're on mute, Missy.
Got me? Okay. That is absolutely beautiful and powerful. And, Lauren, I want to say thank you so much for coming on our show. We absolutely love having you here. And I really do want to readdress, guys, if you guys want to donate, go to laurenforcitycouncil.com. It's absolutely amazing. And like Batista said, $1, $5, $10, wherever the amount is absolutely great. And she's going to win the race June 22nd.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for coming on our show.
Vote, Lauren, vote now.
Yes, thank you for having me. And I just want to also just say thank you once again to Marsha J. and to Coach Racquel, to DJ KTE, and to UMERADIO for helping me to host the excellent event that we had. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And thank you for stopping by. We know you have to go. Have a great day, Lauren.
Thank you. You too, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Wow. Awesome conversation there with Miss Lauren Carter, Democrat running for City Council. Remember, you can always visit her website to learn more about her. laurenforcitycouncil.com/donate. The time is now 10:52 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you are watching Weekends with Marsha J. and Jessie. It's an awesome morning. Yes, and in alignment with what we've just heard about Lauren's fundraiser, we move into our talent segment. And inside our talent segment this morning, we will be having a poem by Jessie, the poem that Jessie did at Lauren's event.
Hey guys, my name is Jesselyne Abel, and I'm going to recite a poem I wrote called Footprints of Hope. This poem is in honor of Memorial Day, with remembrance and honor of all of the fallen soldiers that we have, all the current troops, and as well as Miss Lauren Carter. If you see me looking off to the side, that is just me reading the poem, but I hope you guys like it. Again, Footprints of Hope. Footprints on the ground, standing down, standing tall, with my brothers. Step by step, here we stand, arm in arm, defending our land. The skies of crimson surround. Orchestra of propellers ring loud, and we embark on a journey, clouded but searching for peace. You see, I have voices, and the voices, they stay trapped in my head. And I'm spinning and spinning like circles, like a remix. A mix of what was and what is. Asking myself what tense I'm in. The days, they slowly turn into years. Memories, they still vividly appear. And today, I stand still. I stand still. I stand still in this moment and live it, remember it. All but only for a moment, and then the sun rises above the horizon, beaming hues of prosperity and hope. You see, I have hope. I have hope for times of today. I have hope for the times of tomorrow. I have hope for plans to be put in place. Standing strong with leaders, leaders with grace. Leaders like Lauren Carter, who I know will win the race. So, stand with me today. All right, guys, I hope you guys like this poem that I did called Footprints of Hope. Again, if you guys have not donated with this awesome fundraiser, go do that now, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.
Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UME Radio. The sun is up, and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UME Radio app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio. Follow me, Jessie, on Instagram at ink.jess. That's ink.jess. And on Facebook at Jesselyne Abel. That's JESSELYNE Abel. ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UME Radio with Marsha J and Jessie.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Bye, guys.